of metal has begun, and metal shall prevail. For we know what they have done. 5 legends of our realm who sought to follow the path of their dark musings. But they did not know what they had summoned. Pentakill. To these creatures, there is but one thing left to do. Heavy metal.
Ladies and gentlemen, to the Oceanic Regional Finals, Road to Glory Final Chance Qualifier, the most ridiculously long name in League of Legends history. I'm, of course, Max Atlas Anderson. I'm joined by the wonderful Riot Benji, or Ben DeRitter, as other people would like to call him. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good, yeah. Last qualifier for these two teams. This is essentially the last chance to get into the final Oceanic Regional for the year for these two teams. So I'm hoping for some really exciting games. It's going to be a single best of 3, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's going to be, of course, between Villains and Unlimited. Villains actually picking up the coin toss, so they are going to be on our blue side this evening, which is going to be incredibly exciting. And these guys have had a rough road. I mean, knocked out by both Your Soul Shall Chuffer from the Challenger qualifier, and it was, I believe, 0 from the Road to Glory qualifier
so
as well.
Unlimited came second in Challenger.
Yep.
They had they went through, I believe it was Storm in the semi-final game there.
Yep.
Lost to YSSC, who are a really great team. And then Villains, on the other hand, they actually did really well in Road to Glory. They actually won the winner bracket, and then through the loser bracket, 0 came back and beat them in that final series to claim that that 7th spot in the finals, which will be coming up in 2 weeks, actually, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, very, very soon. It's incredibly exciting. Of course, we are filling out the last spot, so it's going to be exciting. We'll see who does manage to claim it. Of course, there are a few really large names on these teams. Of course, Unlimited is largely the Avant-Garde Redemption lineup that we saw coming through in winter, so that'll be exciting to see those guys, see them, out of their shell, out of the organization.
Yeah, I mean, it's been like a lot of movement in the Avant guys for a little bit. Of course, Legacy went and formed their own brand, and their other team, Redemption, didn't perform so well, so they were dropped, and they're here back today. They've actually picked up a new team, Avant, which have actually qualified earlier, and I think they're around the middle of the pack, about 4th seed, I remember. So those guys are doing really strong, but UL, essentially that's their new brand, they're looking really strong as well. They played really well in Challenger last week. My main concern for them is that they also played in Road to Glory last weekend, and they made sort of halfway through the tournament, and then they got knocked out in the double elim there, whereas Villains went through that tournament a lot deeper. So they have played in the same tournament, and Villains performed better. I don't believe they played each other, though. So we don't know if there's any head-to-head score or any sort of which team is actually stronger. Looking at their solo queue rankings, I would say that Unlimited look a bit stronger. They're all in Challenger tier. But Villains, they're still high diamond. They're still really good, and this should be a close game.
We've also got to remember the fact that, solo queue doesn't really match up in comparison to competitive play and making sure that you have that team cohesion.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a great solo queue player, right, you're going to be good in lane. You're going to do well there. But like after laning, so many teams fall apart, or somehow if you're behind, they can come back because they've got great cohesion. That mid and late game is honestly teamwork and how you mesh together. Yeah,
it's exactly right. I mean, we saw that over in North America with Team Coast, pulling in 2 Korean solo queue heroes, and then things not necessarily working out for them so well. So we shall see what does happen. I'm excited to see Psyker play again, though, because, I mean, that guy really, really strong, loves his Cassidon, stuff like that. So a lot of his champions have been nerfed just a little bit, so we'll see how he does go in that mid lane. Although it's actually not him, so rip. That's I got it wrong.
No, you're right. It looks like it's Azula in the mid. I actually don't know if that's like a name change or if that's someone I don't know, but I haven't really heard of him.
I had a look at the roster, and actually Psyker was still on there, but my whole brain got destroyed, and Azula is going to be there in the mid lane instead.
Anyway, looks like we're jumping into the champ select. Obviously, Villains will get the blue side. They have immediately banned Tristana, which we've seen a lot of recently.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
Oh, man. If you were watching Worlds last night, I mean, the lack of Tristana bans was a horrible thing to have to deal with. Of course, Ryze also being banned away. Bit of a menace in that top lane. Also, if you want to get rid of the ability to counterpick those mid lane AD champions such as Zed and Yasuo, who Ryze does fairly well against, just because he can build a few of those items. Maokai is going to be taken off the board as well. Of course, this is not the same patch that we're used to. It's not like Worlds where things like Alistair is still incredibly strong. That guy has been nerfed. You can't headbutt and auto attack you in the face. So
absolutely
not as much of an issue.
Evelyn ban's interesting for me because she's good, but she was hit a little bit recently, and we've sort of seen her drop off a bit. So Dolphs might really favour that Evelyn still. I mean, she hasn't been nerfed to the point where she can't do anything. She's still a good champion, just not top tier like she used to be. At least getting knocked off, she was nerfed a little bit too, but I still think she's really strong in the jungle. And then Jack's the final ban, who obviously top lane and jungle being targeted by both these teams here. So they seem to think that that's where either the stronger champions are or the stronger players are.
Interesting thing to me is the fact that 2 really top-tier junglers, Lee Sin and Kha'Zix, are both left up. So these jungle bans definitely targeted, but there are real options here for Sybil and Dolphs to pick up if they do want to, and it is going to be the Kazakhs locked in, and Nidalee got through, and Squiggle plays a fantastic Nidalee as well.
Yeah, so they got Lucian, who with Tristana gone is probably one of the top tier ADs. I mean,
people have been actually picking Lucian over Tristana as well.
Yeah, exactly. I still think Corky's really good,
yep.
and Cogmore not so much, but he's still a pick you can see. And there's also the safe ADs like Caitlyn, who you can just pick and be like, oh yeah, that's fine. She'll be fairly safe in lane. You can still get CS. Kazakhs is really strong. I'm kind of curious though if Dolphs plays Rengar. That's someone we've seen a lot of recently.
We might be able to see the quest. That's the exciting bit.
That is pretty exciting. But Rengar is like, he's not easy, right? Like,
oh no.
The first 15 minutes of the game determine whether Rengar is going to be like a real pressure around the map or if he's going to be playing catch up. Lee Sin, a lot safer. Like, Lee Sin just does so much stuff. And Syndra, who is huge right now.
She is massive in the mid lane, and of course, the gank potential of a 2v2 of Lee Sin and Syndra is ridiculous. Land that Scout of the Week into that Sonic Wave for the easy skill shot, and it's very, very difficult to get away. And we'll see what Azula does opt to go for in response, because they might need to be trying to be a bit safe here.
Yeah, they could pick up mid lane here. Actually, they're not going to go. They're going to AD support. But obviously, with Syndra being locked in, they could get a counter pick there and save like maybe save your support or your AD for that last pick, and maybe make sure that bot lane is super safe. But you know, Caitlyn Janna seems like the safest thing in the world to me. Like, so much disengage, so much range. Like, that is not going to be an issue.
Oh my goodness. And that's a Mundo being picked into a Nidalee as well. You have to think that our villains lineup are going to be trying to go for a lane swap here, because if they let Mundo in the early game up against that lane bully in Nidalee, things are going to be so difficult.
Yeah, the lane swap would be interesting. Caitlyn Janna, they do fairly well in the split push as well. Obviously, ranged champions are really good in the split push, but they've both got two ranged champions in the bot lane. Champions like Alistair and Leona kind of a bit weaker because you can't get as close to the tower to do that tower damage.
True.
We've got last pick here. It is going to be, of course, a mid laner. It will be against Syndra. Well, I assume it's not going to be Shaco mid.
Oh, but, we shall see. We shall see. There might be some insec business going on here. We might actually have Sybil chucking over that Kazakhs to Azula there in the mid lane. Who knows?
Kazakhs can be played mid. Against Syndra,
that would be horrible. Please, God, don't do that.
No, this is probably a Shaco into probably trading it for something else. Of course, we'll have to
it's
wait
just
and
the Shaco hover for the BM. But there is the Ari pickup. So we're going to have balls floating around everywhere there in that mid lane.
Ari's one of those champions that like you see a lot, but she's never like huge, right?
Yeah,
like, she's always
like,
a kick.
Yeah. We'll see how she does go in this particular matchup, because, of course, Ari's so good at snowballing the game, also really, really good at roaming around the map as well. So look to see Azula try and put some pressure on in that bottom lane, potentially.
Yeah.
But that bottom lane, more of a disengaged type bottom lane. Janna doesn't really do much of anything in the laning phase, apart from keep you safe with shields and tornadoes.
They're looking to get farm and go into mid game. And then Janna sort of around 20 minutes with Caitlyn. Like, if Caitlyn can get an Infinity Edge by then, and maybe start like a Last Whisper. With the Janna shield, like, she's just going to be chunking people pretty hard. The one thing I actually really like the Ari into Syndra. Syndra is like does a lot of AoE and does a lot of stuns and stuff, but Ari will move around it. And the thing about Syndra is she's actually quite immobile if you think about it. She has no displacements, right? She's all about like launching out tons of damage from just this one point. If Ari can dodge that stun, land a charm on this champion that's not going to be able to dodge a charm very easily, Syndra's going to get blown up pretty easily. Yeah,
and, you know, Spirit Rush is just absolutely fantastic in those situations. Exactly like you mentioned, being able to dodge all of the skill shots. One of the reasons why you don't see very much Brand, because there's that chance that he can do 0 damage in a fight, which is just a horrible thing to have to deal with.
Yeah, but if his combo goes down, he doesn't misses, it's like, oh, I'm just going to auto-attack for a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't really work. I mean, the one thing about Syndra is Syndra actually counters a lot of the immobile mids a lot. Like, mid lane is like Jace, dare I say. People are gonna play
of course you're going to bring up the Jace.
Syndra's actually a big counter to Jace, because Jace can't move around very quickly, and thus you're going to get hit by that stun so much. Yeah. And that's essentially free damage for Syndra. She can follow up with a Q or even throw another one at her. Whereas Ari, if you need to pick an Ari into a Syndra, and that's why actually I like Syndra on red side, because you can usually get a really good counter pick there.
Yeah, it's true.
Still a really good champion regardless. Even if they go 0-0 mid, she still brings so much burst into the middle late game.
And we'll see whether this Mundo can scale up as well, because, of course, Mundo's in that late game, able to go where they please. Absolutely. And if you make it to that level 6 stage without getting ganked, often you can have a very, very good time. But against Squiggle here in this top lane, I think that Dolphs will definitely have to come up, and Sybil won't have to. He'll just be able to leave that lane if he feels like it, and it's going to mean that Dolphs has to focus that top lane. So potentially, we might be able to have, you know, Unlimited be able to make plays around this map, and Kazakhs plus Ari, if Ari can land a charm, is a fantastic ganking combo as well. So this mid lane might be full of action.
I actually think the top lane is actually the most key for this game.
Yeah.
Assuming no lane just sort of feeds 5 kills, which could happen, right? But assuming nothing like that happens, if Nidalee can get a little bit ahead, she's going to be able to split push and apply so much pressure onto the Mundo that way, and then open up the rest of the map for Syndra, or not Syndra, for Ahri, and for Kha'Zix to make picks in the jungle. But if Mundo can win that lane or hold even and scale into the late game, he can hold that Nidalee off, and that split push is not going to be an issue, and even maybe he can push back, and then suddenly they get map pressure. I feel like bottom lane is going to be pretty stalemate, although who knows, they might decide to just dive in for no reason. I feel mid is going to be iffy for both of them. It's going to be very touch and go.
Oh yeah, assassination attempts all over the board.
Absolutely, but I think the top lane is actually where this game will be decided, personally, but we'll have to see how it's played out. Anything can happen. Bot lane, Caitlyn might just like get caught out 5 times, and then we've got a 5-0 Lucian, and the game's going to go that way. But
yeah, not to mention the fact that villains have a very, very strong team fight team comp rather than Unlimited, who probably really want to do that split push. They want to disengage, make sure that they can get potential 1-3-1s, because you can have that Ahri there in a split push as well, because someone comes to the lane, you just DFG charm and they're dead. I
actually think that there's a huge it's all a pick comp on the Unlimited side, right? Like, they're going to want to get that jungle presence and jungle vision, and anyone that walks through to try and get a blue or wolves, they're just going to try and pick off, right? That's how they win this game, straight up. If there's a 5-on-5 fight, that's some point in this game, unless Unlimited are like 10k gold ahead, I think that villains will take that fight. So Unlimited want to avoid those 5v5 fights and fight like 3v3.
Yeah, and it's going to be very, very important, of course, for Unlimited to have that map vision around so that they can set up these picks and get things going on. But we are going to be loading into this game very, very quickly. Villains taking on Unlimited here in our last spot. Of course, the Road to Glory Final Chance Qualifier. Unable to entirely remember that name because, my gosh, it was long and wordy. Yeah, well, and I don't have much brain.
Coming up with names is not an easy thing, dude. You should try it sometime.
I did try it. If you remember our World's preview show.
Oh, yes. For anyone out there who's been watching, or will start watching that this week perhaps, that name is 100% Max inspired.
The World's Run Down Under, everyone.
I liked it. Like, I was just going to call it like the Oceanic World Show or something, and then like Max texts me like, Run Down Under. I was like, yes, we have to do this.
Yep, that's what happens when you're on a run home and you have that sort of that flash of inspiration.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I have it every now and again, but for me it's like 2 a.m. and then I like text you and it's like, I got this cool idea for a show. Max like, I'm asleep. What are you doing to me?
Nah, like I'm asleep at 2 a.m. Are you kidding?
there's League of Legends to play, dude.
Exactly. Have you seen Worlds? That thing's been going late.
It has been.
But we have been watching it because it's fantastic.
It's been going late because it's been great games.
Oh, damn right there has.
Even yesterday I was like, I thought yesterday would be a bit one-sided, but some of those games were really close. And I was like, even the AHQ versus... who was it? No, it wasn't Royal Club. It was Edward Gaming game.
Yep.
That one was... I like that game.
That was very, very good, actually. There were a lot of good matchups. Of course, the one that I found most depressing was Samsung White versus Dark Passage.
Oh, yes.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
No kills. It's just Samsung White being better.
Yeah. that kind of gameplay, I reckon, was actually really interesting. Like, that just goes to show that the game isn't about kills. It's about objectives. No. It's about moving around the map and taking towers and then taking jungle pressure and just getting an XP advantage, not so much a gold advantage. Just being like 2 levels up and having base stats, as well as a little bit of farm, really does get you quite a bit far ahead. But anyway, we are into the game.
Yeah, we are, of course, onto the Rift with Villains taking on Unlimited. Villains on our red side, Unlimited on... Villains, sorry, on our blue side. Unlimited on our red side. Of course, formerly Avant-Garde Redemption, sort of. With a few changes around here as well. We'll see what they managed to do. I'm excited about this Caitlyn pick, though, because we haven't seen Caitlyn very much just recently. Has a lot of lane pressure with that extra range, but... Nami and Lucian is just such a strong lane, especially with that Tidecaller's Blessing. And as you can see, Fudge's already managing to get a bit of damage down. Squiggle copping a cleaver to the face as well.
Yeah, it seems like they're both going very safe. They're just going for like a point defense where they have vision across the map. So you can't enter the jungle without being spotted out. And, it's for game 1. This is what you want to see. You just want to get a few wards down, keep track of them. If they do invade you, just counter-invade. They're not looking to fight here. They're just looking to position and take their buffs.
Dan has actually picked up the little shield mastery in the defensive tree.
Wow.
Interesting decision. We haven't seen that one ever.
Well, I mean, if you're on a lane against Nidalee, you're going to need every little point of health you can get
Every little bit you can. Yeah, he's pretending to be Malphite. He's like, no, I'm Malphite. Come on, I'm a tank. Don't fight me. It's fine.
Yeah. Although, from memory, isn't that just after you go to the fountain that you get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like every time he backs. So he's
either
expecting to back
he gets
a lot.
about 30 extra health.
I mean, 30 health.
It's not the best mastery.
No.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hey, if that's what it takes for him to like stay in this lane.
Hey, if he survives on 30 health, I will eat my words.
Well,
right?
yeah.
Without going back to max health after.
Yeah,
there's a lot of determining factors here.
Yeah, I think the main thing is it lets you eat an extra auto from Italy, right? And for this Mundo, he just needs the last laning phase, and that actually does help him last laning phase. Even though it's like 0.11 or 0.01% more, it still helps him. Whereas late game, like, he doesn't need that extra scaling help. He really doesn't need it.
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
They've got the early aggression, or early pressure coming down here from Syndra pushing that lane forward.
And we, of course, didn't have a lane swap even attempted here by villains. So I obviously don't know what I'm talking about. Play-by-play caster, just don't know where my brain is. And Mundo, I feel, is going to have a difficult time in this top lane, but we'll see whether he can land those cleavers in order to stave off the aggression that Nidalee can be putting down.
So Lee Sin actually did start blue. I find that interesting because it tells me he wants to be aggressive on the bottom half of the map early on. I feel like that's almost a mistake. You want to be mid and top. That bot lane, I feel like, doesn't have much pressure. Janna disengaged, like, even before 6, she still has a tornado, and that's just going to stop you in your tracks if you try and dive forwards. And obviously, Caitlyn has huge range, plus an E to get away from you. I feel like he needs to be top part. Kha'Zix is red right now. He's going to be able to pressure, if he decides to, from here to mid or top. Probably top. And Lee Sin's not going to be able to counter. And early on, he needs to save that Mundo.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I would have thought that Dolphs would want to put as much pressure on that top lane as possible just to make sure things don't go out of hand. As you can see already, 4 CS lead being built up there in that top lane. But here in the bottom lane, exactly what we were expecting. Spoil able to put down a lot of extra harass with that range. And the shields coming from Janna are ridiculous, but Dolphs coming. There's an Aqua Prison, and that's going to be the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike as well. Could this be first blood? It's a brilliant shield to stop a lot of that damage, and Dolphs actually getting it turned around. Peacemaker's going to find him in Ignite. Not quite enough.
Oh, wow, that was close. He just stepped in the trap there. The Nami heal actually, I don't know if it would have killed him a little bit longer, just let Ignite ticking, but man, like, that was actually a really strong turnaround there by Caitlyn. Like, every ability that Caitlyn needed to hit there to do damage happened. And, well, I mean, they did go aggressive bottom, and, yeah, basically a perfect scenario of Nami bubble happened, but in the end, still didn't get the kill. Kha'Zix actually just kept farming, so he's just going for the get a few levels ahead of this Lee Sin strat. Yep. And then when he appears top, if they do fight a 2v2 there, he's going to have the slight advantage, because Nidalee's going to have more CS, he's going to be like a level up probably over Lee Sin.
Yeah, Spoil actually looking to dodge a ward here by leaping over this wall.
There was no ward there anyway, so he's just doing that for safety. He's going to wait for his leap to come off cooldown, and then they're going to move in.
Ooh, might be able to corner Nami here just a little bit.
Yeah, so he's waiting. His leap should go off cooldown in a second. He's waiting for the lane to get pushed out. There it is there. The minions have come back. Spoil's quite low, so he's got to be really careful with this gank that Spoil doesn't overextend a little bit. Ooh,
he's looking to bait this one, and you can see Sybil actually coming around the corner. Emphasis getting taken down very low, but Fudges now. There's a really nice exhaust to stop a lot of this damage, and Aqua Prison for the disengaged Nami. So strong. But the leap coming in again. This might be a little bit over-aggressive, but no, of course not. There's a tornado there. Yeah, Janna always able to disengage.
So the hard thing there for Unlimited was that actually both Caitlyn and Janna were quite low, so they couldn't fully commit until Kha'Zix had shown up. If they started fighting, they were full health, let's say, it was even. They started fighting, they could have made them commit a lot more, and actually, there we go, Ari getting poked out of lane here. She'll have to back in a second after this wave, probably. But in the bottom lane, like, if they were high health and started fighting and made them commit a few of their abilities, like Aqua Prison, as they started fighting, then as Kha'Zix comes in, they should have gotten the kill there, but that's them from being a little bit behind there.
Yeah, we'll see whether they can make up for it later on. Of course, no real gold leads being built up here at all. Very, very even. About the 5.5 minute mark in this game. First backs have come through from our top laners. Double Doran's Blade and Longsword from Nidalee, wanting to get as much pressure in that lane as possible. And Mundo managing to pick up a cute little chain vest as well. But look at the CS. This Mundo doing fantastically in this generally losing matchup.
So, like, the Mundo being up on CS tells me Squiggle isn't being aggressive enough. Like, early level Mundo, you can poke down quite a lot, especially pre-6 when he doesn't have his ult to heal back up. Like, he should be autoing him. Like, sit in the brush, stand out, auto, spear, and then back in the brush and keep CSing. Like, that kind of thing there. But he obviously hasn't been doing it because Mundo's been getting CS.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that Nidalee does so much mixed damage as well. You go into that Cougar form, get your spells off, and you're going to be doing magic damage to his face. And so he's got a lot of armor at this stage, but it's not necessarily enough at this stage. But you can see as well, Squiggle doesn't have a lot of warding here around the top side of the map. We can see that the villains have been very, very good with their vision control early on. So Squiggle may not want to go too aggressive just based on the fact that Dolphs could have been around.
I find really interesting is there's actually 3 wards in the red jungle right now, but the red team actually have 2 sweepers on their team. They've opted early to swap out their wards to their sweepers. They've identified that villains have been warding their jungle and they need to clear it out. So that's a smart move from them. But for the moment, until those sweepers come off cooldown, they have a huge vision disadvantage here.
Yeah, they certainly do. You can see there's a few that have timed out. Squiggle actually going aggressive here in this top lane. The ultimate being popped. It's going to be enough. The takedown picks up the kill. And Dandane just not really quite understanding quite how much damage this Nidalee can do. Azula now getting stunned up a little bit, but
he didn't respect the Nidalee damage, essentially. Like, Nidalee does a lot of burst once you land like
and the execute is very strong.
The execute is huge. But, like, most people when they're playing against Nidalee are like, as long as you can play a spear or step in a trap, then I won't get the debuff that does like 33% more damage.
Yeah.
But even without it, she still does a lot of damage. That's what happened just there. Is like, I don't have the debuff. I can come back in, but no, he couldn't.
And that was Squiggle just the big outplay there in the top lane. That could really get things started here on the side of Unlimited. Getting a Nidalee ahead a little bit early. Is going to be going for that Trinity Force, of course, after these couple of Doran's Blades. And having that Phage as well just makes her such a menace, able just to do exactly what's going on. Also, accidentally missing a charm there, but Foxfire is going to be able to pick up that cannon creep, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, just got to secure those cannons, right?
Yeah.
I was talking to Derek at one point. I remember him saying that when he plays Ezreal, he always queues the cannon creep because it's so much of a loss not getting that cannon creep.
Oh, yeah.
You have to use an ability on it. If just 100% gets you that extra gold, then it's worth it. So, I mean, it's no shame there to use abilities on cannon creeps. If, Radiant does it, then heck, everyone can.
That was the big change in Season 4, was just the massive amount that those cannon creeps then became worth.
Yeah. Anyway, looks like we've still got that poke in the top lane. You see Mundo being a little bit...
Ooh, charm barely missing onto Pleasy. Does throw a ball back into Azula's face. And we can see so far this mid lane matchup hasn't been too volatile. Flashes both available here for these guys, so they're going to be relatively safe. 8 CS advantage here for Pleasy, though, so
Syndra's pulling a little bit ahead here. Actually, with that extra CS, it's not much, but he's actually picked up a few extra wards with that, so he's going to have a bit extra vision. Ari actually... Oh, wow, good
nice stun again. Manages to get the Dark Binding down.
Oh,
going to dodge nicely out of the way of the charm. Forced to use that flash, though, so that is going to be summon a spell down, and successful gank here by Sybil.
Oh, actually, Dolph comes in.
He's coming through. There's the ball for the slow as well. Oh, it's going to land. A Scatter the Weak combo. There's a Resonating Strike as well. Dolphs just kicks Azula in the head. Says, thank you very much for the kill. Beautifully set up gank by the villains here.
Yeah, I was actually scared because when Syndra flashed, she was like heading towards the top right slightly. I thought she flashed in there, didn't see the coverage, but no, she did. That was a good flash over the wall, and then Ari just sort of overstayed her welcome a little bit. I mean, Kha'Zix was still there, but he'd gone back into the jungle, so can't react instantly to those kind of things. Spoil here, getting caught out slightly.
Oh, nice dodge out of the way of the 90 caliber net there as well. Fudge is demanding the respect with that Light Slinger passive. Of course, Lucian incredibly strong in those duels, especially early on when you're really utilizing that extra auto attack from the passive. Oh, cute little shield for no reason at all.
No. Oh, wow. Spoil here.
And Fudge is a little bit of a heal bait, but that's a really... Oh, my goodness. The last hit is going to be there, and Fudge just picks up the kill. Spoil goes down. And I don't know why Spoil really wanted to pick that fight.
Well, I don't know either. Like, he was in a bush. Maybe he had, like, an extra stun or something. But, anyway,
Zola again getting caught by an Acro Prison here. Pleasy.
Wow.
A lot of damage, but Dolph's picking up another kill for himself. 2-0. Oh, Fudge is now in a lot of trouble. Sybil's going to be able to pick up that kill. Red Buff actually takes that one in the end.
Yeah,
so thankfully Spoil gets a little bit of redemption.
They're really getting picked on mid here. You can see Lee Sin has spent most of his game in mid as far as pressure is concerned. And actually Nami's moved up here to really shove this mid lane down. So they're really prioritizing Syndra farming kills here, giving Syndra a lot of advantage over Ari. And that makes a lot of sense to me, especially late game when Syndra is the guy that's going to blow someone up. There's a lot of damage on that one champion. Mundo's not going to do damage. Lee Sin's not going to do damage. So it's both the AD and the mid lane that have to do it. On the other side, though, Squiggle, like, he's been winning this top lane, but not convincingly enough to me. And this advantage up here isn't going to be that much compared to the mid lane disadvantage here.
Yeah, we'll see whether Dandane can actually make his presence felt around this mid-game time. Of course, Dragon hasn't been taken yet. Unlimited are positioning around it, seeing whether they can get the vision down. And they are actually going to start this one up. It's in full vision from the villains at this stage. See whether Unlimited can actually get this one down, because of course there is the teleport available here from Mundo. Tidal Wave does come through. This is at very, very low health. Sonic Wave does land. Is the Dragon going to be taken? No, they're going to concentrate on the fight. There's a really, really nice Dragon Rage kick, and it's going to be a nice little smite. Going to pick up the Dragon, as well as that kill on the support at the same time. Emphasis does fall down, and they sacrifice a Dragon and a kill. Unlimited with a little bit of a hasty maneuver here. Desperation Dragon, perhaps?
I don't know. They didn't have that much vision. They had no vision around the dragon. None on the ledge behind it. And like Lee Sin came in, kicked Kha'Zix away, and then Kha'Zix couldn't smite because he was out of range. And actually also died. That kind of makes it hard to smite as well.
Being dead doesn't help.
Yeah, no. But I mean, he just kicked Kha'Zix away. And he's like, oh, free smite for me. Let me just do that. And like the Caitlyn Piltover Peacemaker actually lowered it to the last point for him. It was, like, well set up.
Yeah, thank you very
really
much.
Did give that dragon over to...
I like that it was just a bit of a drive-by as well. It's like, no, just chuck out a cheeky smite. No worries. Thank you very much.
He was actually focusing on the kills as well. He landed next to Dragon after a scatter of the week. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess I'll just smite it now. I actually thought he didn't have it up for a second, but that's a big advantage now for villains. They're 3k ahead, and I mean, that's not unachievable for Unlimited to come back from, but they've got so much like missed presence in the mid lane here. All the wards have died off, but they haven't really been trying to get any vision up, even in the river, let alone their opponent's jungle. So they can't see the rotations.
And we can see also the fact that in a 4v4 with the top laners not involved, our villains lineup is so much stronger, especially at this stage of the game. So they're really playing it out nicely, making sure that Mundo is there in order to just be a presence in that top lane.
Yeah. I think the main thing is... Kha'Zix is not... I think that Kha'Zix's picks for ganks in this game have been a little bit weird. Like, he's trying to force things to happen rather than looking for opportunities. For example, like, in the top lane, Mundo right now is quite pushed forward, right? It's being pushed forward quite a lot. Actually, this tower here's going to go down, which is a nice little gold pickup. Like a team fight here, actually.
Well, we are actually going to get the stun on Emphasis as well. There's the ultimate coming down. Nice Shield's going to stop the damage, but Spoil's going to fall down. Fudges picks up that kill. Sybil gets exhausted, has the ultimate, but Dark Sphere is going to pick up that kill as well. Pleasey says thank you very much. Picks up another kill for himself. 2-0-2 now on this Syndra with a massive CS lead as well.
Yeah. So Unlimited can't fight 4v4 anymore. Like, they couldn't before, and they especially can't now. And so why they were near that tower and just run away as soon as they saw it was going to die in the next wave is confusing to me. They need to be getting vision control of their own jungle now, right? We see villains moving around their own jungle. Actually, Lee Sin's taking the Red Wolves right now. If they have vision control of that, they can make picks. That's what their comp is, a pick comp. You got Ari with the Charm, Kha'Zix with the Leap. Like, get vision up and try and make picks when villains overextend into your jungle, and that's how you come back. Get a couple of kills, and that turns into a dragon, and then suddenly you're even, and you can actually start being aggressive into their jungle.
Yeah, we'll see whether it does work out, because there definitely needs to be a change here on the side of Unlimited, because what they're doing is not working.
No. I think this next dragon is super important. It's going to be up in like probably at 2 or 3 minutes. If villains get it, I feel like Unlimited are in trouble. And it's not because of the gold, it's more because like if they lose that dragon as well, then their map positioning and their map presence it just isn't there for them to win this game. If they can take it, it's going to be the first big step in clawing this game back.
Yeah, and it's about that money as well, because they're really starting to fall behind. 4,000 gold at this stage. Oh, is the takedown going to be enough? The 100 passives there, but has it been a bait? Squiggle getting taken down incredibly low because Fudges is here. Sybil as well taking a lot of damage. That spear's not going to land, but Dark Sphere is, and that's going to be another kill for Pleasey, and Spoil now in a lot of trouble. Has been slowed down, does have the ultimate there as well. They're trying to hit the skills. Is that last little attack? It is going to mean the 1-for-1 trade. Sybil getting a kill back, but all of the map pressure here for the villains. And we see whether they can put down enough pressure here in order to take this turret as well, and I think they can. Only 2 extra members from Unlimited are available. Zilla does have a lot of CC, so if they are under the tower things are going to be difficult.
Yeah, and that's really like 2 straight kills for villains. They got this tower pressure. They're probably going to try and poke it down. They've got Lucian here, who does a lot of obviously tower damage, being the AD. Caitlyn's actually in the bottom lane here, fighting Lucian. Oh, Lee Sin actually getting.
It's actually the Dragon Rage is going to land on the Spoil as well. Oh, Sonic Wave not going to land, but the Flash is going to be used instead. No mana here for Spoil, and has been slowed down by that red buff. There's no tower for him to go back to. Dolph's trying to get around this map, trying to make his way over here. Does have his skills back available. There's going to be the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike. And the Tempest is going to land for the kill. Nicely played by Dolphs with an interesting ultimate at the beginning.
Yeah, so Caitlyn was actually, like, saw the action top lane. It's like, all right, well, I can't get there. I need to try and counter-take a tower so that we're not falling so far behind in gold. Push the tower. Lee Sin was mid, and he's like, well, actually, Caitlyn's just pushing the tower. I'll head down there and defend the tower. But by the time he got there, Caitlyn was still there. And Tsunami here getting caught.
Yeah, Sybil actually likes his chances on this one, but gets caught up by an Aqua Prison. There's a nice tidal wave as well for the disengage, because Squiggle was there. There were actually 4 members from Unlimited, so good use of the ultimate, making sure that everything was going to be safe, and held on to the exhaust.
Yeah. I want to actually say, Unlimited has been doing a bit like a respect charm, actually.
Yeah, Zula pretty charming on this Ari. Culling going to be used just to clear out this wave. Nice scatter the weak stun. on the Sybil as well. Pleasy's been playing this Syndra so incredibly well.
Yeah. Unlimited have actually done a really good job of getting jungle vision back. They've got 2 pinks down their jungle. There's no blue wards in their own jungle. The problem is that at this point, that villains are actually just shoving down tier 2 turrets, and they're like removing the jungle from the map at all. Like, Unlimited are going to be stuck in their base very soon, and at that point they can't get into their own jungle and make picks. So this map vision is actually great. It's the right thing to do. It was just like 1 or 2 minutes too late. It's what they needed earlier when those initial fights were going on.
And of course, Squiggle hasn't picked up the outer turret in the top. Oh, as I say that, it is going to be taken down. So first turret of the game is going to be going over on the side of Unlimited, but it is going to be the villains pushing down on this inner turret in the bottom lane. Going to get a little bit of damage on that one as well. Fudges, of course, with that Infinity Edge, going to be doing a lot of damage. 3, 1, and 2 now on this Lucian. Yeah. We'll see whether he decides to go for that Ghostblade build or whether he wants to go for the Static Shiv. There are a few options here for Lucian at this stage. A lot of people have been deciding that attack speed's still great. Don't really need to worry about that cooldown reduction as much.
This is the dragon that matters. Like, I think like villains are just taking it. No Unlimited players in nearby. Like, this tells me that they cannot get vision and cannot fight back here. That's an extra like 1.5k gold. The lead's now out at about 7k. This is starting to become a little bit too much for them to come back from.
Yeah, Ultimate actually being forced out here by Dan as well in the top lane. Squiggle likes his chances. I don't know what Dan's really doing. He does have, of course, the sadism, but not quite going to be enough. Spearhead have landed, might have gone in for something, but
Dan is actually like the only player on the red team, on the blue team that is behind. Like, he needs to realize that actually, whilst his team is winning and his team have more gold, if he is to fight the Nidalee, he will lose. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why Nidalee's staying top, because Nidalee knows if he split pushing, he can start like kill Mundo, and then the map pressure completely flips because he's going to be able to like take the top tier 2 turret, right? So that's how Unlimited can come back. Obviously, there's like great like control of their own jungle now, which is really helping. They're starting to try and solidify a bit. Like, the gold lead isn't getting too much bigger. They're not getting killed all over the map anymore. But we'll see if it's too little too late. I like their play like now, actually. This is really solid.
yeah, it certainly is. And of course, we are going to have this mid-game powerful build coming out of Lucian. Does have those Lucidity boots, so I think that Avarice Blade is going to be going potentially towards that Ghost Blade as opposed to the Static Shiv. So you're going to have lots of burst damage, able to clear out these waves with the culling that does scale off the attack speed when you do use that item. So really, really cool to see. And knows when they do want to spike this damage, because I think that they want to assert their dominance in this game as early as possible, just with their comp. They don't want to give Caitlyn a chance to scale.
Villains need a pick here. Like, fact of the matter is that Unlimited have this amazing wave clear with Caitlyn and Ahri. Like,
exactly.
He'll have a Peacemaker and the Ahri ball will clear a wave, and they can use that every wave. And they're just buying time here for this, right? Squiggle's top lane just shoving down this Mundo, and like, they can sit here forever, and eventually I feel like Nidalee will break before Unlimited break here in the bot lane.
Yeah, Squiggle able to use all of his abilities in order to keep himself safe as well. That Primal Surge being pretty good, keeping you healthy, giving you a lot of that attack speed as well. But we do have 4 men strong, sorry, in the bottom lane coming out of the villains. They really want to get this inner turret, but it's not breaking. As you said, Unlimited able to play this stall game out relatively effectively, and all the while Nidalee having her way with the top lane. Yeah,
like that turret there is taking 2 auto attacks every wave. And that might seem good long term, but those 2 auto attacks are going onto the Janna shield, and it's actually not doing anything long term. So they're starting to rotate around. Syndra's going mid now to pick up that farm, maybe trying to shove that in. I think they need to keep Syndra mid here and force Ahri or someone to deal with him. Kha'Zix can't deal with Syndra. Ahri's the only one that can, and once Ahri leaves his bot lane, they can probably do a bit more tower damage. But they are going to back off here, as they are only 3 here against what they think is 4, although Kha'Zix is at his lead off.
Yeah, we do have Pleasy coming through the river here as well, so we'll see whether they manage to catch the flank, because of course Sybil is trying to come around and make a play. Tidal Wave does come through. Sybil actually jumping into the backline. Fudge is going down so low. The Monsoon's there as well. That's actually going to be the AD carry taken out of this fight. Dan has teleported in, but Emphasis getting taken down so low. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Squiggle's here as well, but he's way out of this one.
Yeah, Nami sort of zoned the other 2 guys. Nidalee teleported in too late there.
Oh, there's actually the flash in from Dolph. Sybil having to jump under an enemy tower here. Not entirely sure where he thinks he's going to be able to go.
Maybe try and turn it around on Dolphs? No, he's just going back.
Yeah, Sonic Wave does secure it, make sure that it's not an execute, but I don't think it would have been anyway. So nicely played by Dolphs to actually land that Q at the end. And Squiggle here going to be setting up this bottom wave as well. So not going too badly there for Unlimited, considering the fact that they're at such a deficit.
Yeah, I mean, like, Squiggles just teleported in and the fight was already over. Mundo teleported in at a great time. Like, you're looking at the fight going, man, look, Unlimited have a great engage here, and then Mundo shows off and it's like, oh, I didn't realize he teleported in. Top lane, Squiggles like, at that point, oh, I better start teleporting. Honestly, I think Squiggle could have just stayed top and actually pushed down that top tower at that point. He was too late, he didn't recognize that, and as a result, like, he wasted like a lot of time. He just didn't do anything. Had no contribution. Ari is going to push down mid lane here. This mid lane turret, like, it's essentially free gold. At this point in the game, it's pretty easy to take. Just send a couple of people mid and get some wards up. It has quite low amount of health compared to your damage, but you know, Dolphs is there doing good defense.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of standing gold on the map, does the villains as well. So a lot of these outer turrets could potentially be taken here with a Squiggle split push if he decides to change his lanes around, so that Unlimited can get a little bit back in this gold game. As you can see, 40 CS the lead for Squiggle in that top lane, which is definitely going well. And it evened out here in the mid lane as well, as Zula managing to pull it back to about 3 behind, so not bad.
Yeah, I mean, looking at CS across the board though, like the one thing that stands out for me is obviously Lucian over Caitlyn. Lucian has a lot more gold than Caitlyn. Caitlyn's just going to be a wave clearer for now. Her contribution in fights is huge. She hasn't actually finished an item yet. She's kind of got Zeal and then built a BF. So she's obviously trying to finish her Infinity Edge, but went for a Zeal first. The main thing though is quite simply Squiggle, 193 CS over 150 from Mundo. He's got an extra kill on the board as well. And he's just got like, he's got his Trinity Force and he's starting his second item, whereas Mundo's just got like Randuins. This top lane is obviously where Unlimited need to win this game, and that's what they're trying to do here.
Yeah, interesting choice going with that Glacial Shroud. Wanted to get a bit of that cooldown reduction you could imagine, but going to be turning that into a Frozen Heart somewhere later in this game. Maybe going for a Spirit Visage next, going for sort of the tanky build. We've been seeing all sorts of items coming out from Italy tops. Bloodthirster is available. There's, of course, Blade of the Ruined King that you can go for. Lots of different things if you want to go for offense or defense.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of understand. Like, he's against the Mundo. He only needs to itemize for the Mundo. Nidalee in team fights isn't too great. Like, if you look at this game and you think, oh, if Nidalee and Mundo join the team fight, like, Nidalee's not going to add anything, and Mundo's going to be a huge unstoppable tank. So he just needs to build, like, to 1v1 people, right?
I find that interesting, then, because, of course, Mundo does so much magic damage.
He does. I don't know why he's gone for the Glacial Shroud, but, oh, actually, Colin coming through.
Fudge's not quite being able to, of course, that wall being very difficult to get around.
Yeah, you can't walk through walls.
No.
Not with Lucian. Cassidy can, but not no one else.
Rift walk.
He
no
can.
worries at all.
Yes.
Villain's going to be picking up another dragon. Going to be the third one of the game for these guys. Have had complete control over that objective.
Yeah. They've got no vision control. Like I was saying earlier, Unlimited had better control of their own jungle. They've still got decent vision. Actually around the top side of the map though. That's for Nidalee, so Nidalee can push without getting collapsed upon. But the bottom half of the map though is nothing. They've just abandoned that whole thing, being alright, you know what? Villains, you can have it. You can have Dragon. We're going to focus on Baron and on Nidalee split push. And that's actually like pretty smart, but it means they're going to bleed that 2,000 gold or so every 5 minutes.
Yeah. Dan trying to stave off against Squiggle here. He's managing to do a fair bit of pressuring, but his Mundo's not feeling too bad at this stage. He's gotten through the worst parts of the game relatively unscathed. Although he has a deficit, he is now able to hold his own, especially if he has a turret there. But there's a nice stun coming through in the bottom lane.
That was huge. That stun actually let him get a bit of tower damage. That's maybe what they need to do here when they're pressuring his bot lane. Land a stun so that Lucian can just slide forward and do that couple of shots to that tower. It sort of delays the AoE clear. Just going back to that top lane though, actually, Mundo is a little bit behind here. Like, he could have come out of this lane being like even and thus being able to like push Squiggle back. Like that could have happened. He could have been so unkillable that Squiggle has to like leave lane. That hasn't happened, but on the other side he stayed relevant enough that he doesn't actually need to leave lane and give it up completely.
Yeah, we can see, look at the extra pressure that's being put down here. The inner turret is going to fall because Dan did have to go back there in the bottom lane. In the top lane, sorry. For Unlimited.
But now Squiggle's going back as well. So that top pressure is going to fall here. So I think this turret here is going to go down. Like,
yeah, both teleports from these top laners are available as well. So
yeah, I don't think that's good for Unlimited. I think that definitely benefits villains here. When teleports are down, they have to fight for the There's the Culling coming out there. Trying to do some damage.
Trying to do some zoning. See, the shield has been broken, and only a couple more shots going to be needed. A little light slinger might be enough, but Squiggle's found his way here into the bottom lane. Dan hasn't decided to teleport as of yet. Nice stun is going to land. Please, he's managed to get that one. Tidal Wave coming through as well. Oh, that Stomp's going very deep into that fight. The Monsoon being used there as well. But Pleasy picking up the first kill on the AD carry of all people. A double kill coming through. Can this be more kills? A nice charm onto Dan for the disengage. Really well played here by the villains. They're going to be able to keep pushing through here.
Well, that was actually like a really good Monsoon, and Dolphs went so far forward. But the fact of the matter is, like, Mundo appeared. Like, even though Nidalee was there, it was a 5v4 for a bit. The second Mundo came.
Then getting caught by the charm. Forced to use that flash. Ebb and Flow going to be used just to heal him up a bit. Unlimited. Things are looking dangerous. 11,000 gold the lead here as well for the villains.
Yeah. Look where the gold is as well. Like, it's on Syndra. Look at that. 503 Syndra. Lee Sin's 503 as well. I mean, that's not... Lee Sin is a tank, right? He's not going to be building huge damage. He isn't. He's got a Hex Strength. That's his only damage item. So he's good front line. Although, to be fair, he's not a huge tank compared to Mundo. So those kills aren't important. It's the Syndra kills that are huge. Death Cap coming out now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's a massive power spike coming through here for Bleezy as well. So he's going to really be able to start melting people's faces. Finishes the Death Cap and picks up both of the recipe items for that Void Staff as well. So 1,000 gold until this Syndra is ridiculous.
I think the Syndra's already ridiculous, to be fair.
Well, that's true, but completely ridiculous.
Even more ridiculous.
Out of control.
Yeah. I'm just looking for, like, what items here, like, we're looking to finish on this side to get them back up. Like, they've got a needlessly large rod and a blasting rod on Ari, so Ari's really close to the Death Cap as well, but not quite there. So, right, like, until Ari gets a Death Cap, they can't fight even 4v4, I don't think. I think Syndra does too much. Ari hasn't really done much this game, to be fair. Like, he's landed a couple of charms, but, like, he hasn't been that assassin that we need him to be.
Yeah. Hasn't quite managed to do the flanking that he necessarily needs as well and land these little auto attack, the charms around these fights. Culling is going to come through. Lots of damage here as well. Dolph's a huge tank now in this fight. Sybil getting caught up here as well. Nice tidal wave. Emphasis is going to fall down. Sybil's going to follow, and look at the damage from Pleasy on this Syndra. That is ridiculous. They are going to be able to take down this inhibitor turret as well, potentially.
They need minions before they can take down that turret. I think they realized about 10 seconds into that, they're like, oh, we actually have minions here.
Let's go to the bottom lane. There's minions here. This is one we prepared earlier.
That's
it's a bit like a Jamie Oliver show, isn't it?
Mundo was sitting there taking the tower going, oh, actually, we could probably kill this. So they do take the bottom lane, which is obviously a bit easy for them to take. They don't really want to rotate mid. They actually are full health. So they could stick around here and like try and keep the pressure going, keep the momentum going. But they should back off here.
Well, they've got the bottom lane turret as well. This means that they have so much pressure on Baron at this stage of the game.
Exactly. Let the super minions push in, and then you've got Baron, you've got obviously that mid lane. Top lane here, Squiggles push. He's got that tier 2, and he's doing everything he can, but man, he just can't get a break here. Every time he goes to fight, Mundo is there to stop him.
Yeah, Mundo coming back through here as well. Does have his Spirit Visage, so that Sadism is going to be doing a fair bit of work keeping him topped up with that extra bit of healing from that item. Squiggle now on a bit of a excursion throughout the enemy base.
Yeah, he's like, I can't get that top turret. I'm going to start in the bottom lane now. Let's push that one out.
I'm going to start with the inhibitor turret in the mid lane. Oh, wait, hang on. The outer turret's still up there.
I'm kind of curious. It might be an idea to have...
Spoil actually getting caught up by a little bit of a stun here as well. Dolph's getting caught by the charm at the same time. Sort of a bit of a back and forth here. Fudge is now getting taken down incredibly low. The heal having to be forced out here. Somehow managing to survive that takedown. Insane's going to get caught by the charm. He's going to fall.
That's the pick comp at work right there. That was not a team fight. That was
picks everywhere.
That's what this comp's supposed to do. And it's taken them 30 minutes to actually finally land some combos and get some kills. Everyone's quite low. Nidalee there probably needs to start speed pushing again. You want to try and pull that Mundo away here because he's just going to be unkillable. Yeah,
Dan is a monster. Randuin's is going to be popped just to slow people down. He's going to dodge out of the way of that spear as well. And so far, a bit of damage being put down here in the middle lane. But this is the outer turret. I mean, the villains still with so much control over this game.
Yeah, Caitlyn is stuck in bot lane right now, pushing it. I was going to say, Nidalee should consider going bot lane. It'll be a slower push, but with vision, like, you can hold it and maybe even push back and try and take that tier 1 turret. That tier 1 turret isn't too hard to kill. It's good gold there, and I don't think Nidalee's going to be able to push down this top lane to get that inhibitor turret, at least for a while. There's just no map pressure from the rest of his team.
Yeah, and that's going to be a blue buff being donated over to Syndra here as well. Of course, if you have a look at the gold, 1,800 gold on this Syndra, so able to pick up that Void Staff whenever they want, and potentially another Blasting Wand as well if they want to go that way, or see what they decide to go with next. I could imagine Zhonya's is probably next on the agenda, but we shall see.
Zhonya's I don't know about. I mean, we'll see what they do. I mean, Zhonya's is an item that like slows down the game a bit.
It's after a Void Staff Rabadon, so I think it's, it won't be that slow.
Yeah, I was thinking more something like a QSS or something might be more useful to cleanse off the charm if you need to. I don't know. I mean, it's not a bad item. I feel like with the Syndra Burst, he just wants to like throw it all out there.
Yep.
And
has decided to go with those the home guards. Make sure they can zip around. So it hasn't gone into that next item yet. So I like it. Does have that trinity of mid lane items.
That's it. CS-wise, there's still... Actually, Mundo's starting to catch up a little bit. He was a bit far behind. He's starting to slowly close that 60 CS buffer. And actually, Caitlyn's actually caught up a bit too. Caitlyn was a good, like, 30 behind, but has brought that down to 15, which is good.
Yeah, almost an entire item behind, though. It's getting very, very scary here.
That's the 4 kills right there. Here comes Lee Sin.
Yeah. Dolph's trying to assert some dominance here in this top lane. The last inner turret that is available on the side of the villains, so they're going to try and get that one down if they can. But Squiggle's there. Does have a lot of pressure in that top lane. But 3 men strong.
Oh, this Nidalee and Tops get caught.
Oh, Sonic Wave actually going to pass through Nidalee. Tidal Wave's going to come down. Not going to get the knock up. A nice flash here by Squiggle. Does manage to get away from the potential stun as well. So Pleasy came through. Didn't quite manage to get that one down. Inner turret's now going to be beating on Insane. That's going to be fine. Wow. That's going to be the shutdown. Actually, the catch coming in from right out the back. Azula manages to pick that one up. Now it's going to be a 4v5. Oh, the catch onto Lucian as well. Ace in the hole finishes him off. Not entirely necessary, but it was a cute little maneuver anyway. Insane now trying to speed themselves up. The passive of Nami very strong, but we'll see whether it's going to be enough. There's a nice bubble. Is it going to come up? The charm lands. Insane gets caught. Spoil picks up that kill. Squiggle now on the hunt. Dolph's in a lot of trouble. Does manage to get over to the white.
The snowball, like they got 1 kill there. They picked off Syndra and then they just went go. And that's going to give him, well, I mean, they're going to look at Baron here. Mundo is here. Mundo is full health. They might be able to get it. Mundo does not have Smite, whereas Kha'Zix does. And I think they should be able to get it here, especially with Nidalee coming down there.
Yeah, fantastic Monsoon just to keep them all healthy as well. Dolph really wants to try and get the steal. Mundo's trying to play the defense game, but he's getting taken down very, very low. Does have to use his flash, and Squiggle is available. He's trying to pressure him off, but he has successfully stopped this Baron. Oh, dear. Oh, Mundo! Oh, dear.
It did cost him his own life. I think.
Yeah, wild goose chase, though.
It did.
Not bad.
So I'm kind of glad they actually peeled off that Baron there. I was a bit concerned. Well, I think it was just this really awkward situation where Dolphs could have stolen it, and then Dolphs and Mundo could have died.
Oh, my goodness. Swing. And the inhibitor went down in the bottom lane as well.
Oh, so really?
Because Mundo manages to stop the Baron and stop the backs as well, they lose the inhibitor for the 2nd time in this game. So all of that Baron pressure back into Villain's hands, and they know it. They are going to be starting this one off. Of course, there are a couple of traps. Squiggles managed to get a bit of vision in there, so he probably knows what's going on.
Yeah, they know they're doing this. They're coming down to rotate. There is a lot of wave. There's a wave actually in bottom lane pushing up here, but this is free. They have a jungle in here.
Oh, tries to get the steal. It's actually Syndra that picks that one up, so very, very lucky here by the Villains. Sybil does manage to escape in time.
Yeah, this is actually a bit of an issue here. Ari might get caught out by Nami if Nami's ult is available. I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, actually the Spirit Rush has been used here by Azula. That could be very dangerous.
Caitlin's caught out by Mundo.
Yeah, getting caught by the Randuin slow as well. There's a Sonic Wave. There's a Resonating Strike at the same time. There's a stun. Only going to land on a Nidalee, though. They have managed to make it underneath this inner turret, but Squiggle very low on mana. And Dan just happy to run through the base.
But in this bot lane here, this mid wave is pushing towards the inhibitor turrets, and they're just going to push in here for this mid lane.
Yeah, they're just going to face tank it.
This is an awkward situation. They can either defend mid, and they also have to clear bot at the same time. They shouldn't lose mid turret here, and then they probably have to back out. They won't get the inhibitor, I don't think. Well, they might
there's the stun on the Squiggle as well. Sonic Wave not going to land, but Aqua Prison does. Charm onto Dolphs. We'll see whether it's going to be enough damage. Does manage to get an ebb and flow just to save his life there. No Scatter the Weaks are going to land here, and the inhibitor is potentially going down. Ace in the hole, not going to find the right target, of course. With 5 members available, you could imagine that it's fairly easy to get in the way of that one with someone with a little bit more health, but not going to be able to get the inhibitor, but inhibitor turret in the mid lane does fall down. Nicely played.
This is crazy. This is a 12k gold lead here for Villains. And these team fights, because Unlimited are getting picks at the start of the fights and catch people out, they're looking close, right? Can you imagine if this was like an even game? And with these picks from this Unlimited team, it'd be so one-sided, they just pick off people left, right, center. 11k gold, like, has made it look fairly close, but I don't know. Now that Baron's been taken, and there's a full health blue team running down mid with a dead inhibitor in the bot lane, an open inhibitor in mid, I think they're 1 team fight away from losing this game. They've got to be really careful here, and they've got to really nail these teleports. That's the most important thing here.
Yeah, we'll see whether they do manage to do that. Of course, Negatron being picked up by Fudges. Doesn't want to get charmed to death.
Yeah, actually, Mundo's teleport's down. Nidalee's is not, so that if there is, like, if Nidalee is actually top right now, if Nidalee can force someone to come top, they can create a 5v4. Although, I think Nidalee has to back here. Like, Villains are like, Nidalee's not applying pressure. It's not in that base. Let's just push forward.
Yeah, and they are just going to be able to walk up to this inhibitor, pick that one up. Villains with easy pickup of that objective. Now 2 inhibitors down, very, very scary. Unlimited almost forced to stay in their base at this stage. Nice Culling going to do a lot of work to soften up these members of Unlimited, but they have a fountain very, very available. So you can imagine that if this one's going to be fought by the Villains, they have that Baron buff. they are going to have to do it against full health members of Unlimited.
Yeah, this is so much easier to do with Baron. Obviously, Unlimited have the fountain, so when they get low, they can go. They actually Squiggle here. That was risky. 5v4, and they held, and Squiggle managed to take the turret here. That's great.
Yeah,
but
managing to get the inhibitor too, yeah.
If they try this without Baron, though, they can get poked down and forced out very easily. With Baron, they can stick around a lot longer than they could before. So, well, they're kind of trying it back now, but that was a good push. I like it.
Yeah, stopping the backs here with the Tornado, and I don't necessarily know why the villains have taken the pressure off. They probably want to push up this top lane now, play it by the book, pick up the things that they need, but Fudges is actually going to pick up a kill randomly on the side of the map.
Wow, and that's actually huge.
Catching out the Ahri, so...
That'll give him maybe turrets. Like, Nidalee here isn't a problem. Like, 4v3 is a huge difference. That's a lot different than 5v4. Nidalee here is going 1v1 here against Lee Sin. That means there's 3 people here to defend, which is Janna, Caitlyn, and Kha'Zix. A little bit of wave clear here, but like the damage is Ahri and honestly Nidalee.
Yeah, and Ahri's dead.
And Ahri's dead. Ahri's got 25 seconds. They're going to get these turrets. This could be game here. Nidalee's pushing forward. Nidalee's actually in the base here, killing Lee Sin and trying to get the inhibitor turret. And it's a pretty even fight, but this fight here, this is one-sided.
Yeah, only one Nexus turret is available. Dan, happy to tank up this turret as well, so easily a lot of damage. Fudges is here, does have the Bloodthirster, lots of damage items. The Nexus is now the focus here for the villains. Coming through the road to glory, are they going to be able to pick up this first game? Yes, they are, because of course that was one hit from Dead on the Nexus. Not a difficult bet to take, that particular one. Congratulations to the villains coming out of the road to glory against the runner-up challenger team and really putting the best foot forward. So yeah, only game 1. Best out of 3.
Interesting thing at the end there, actually Nidalee was split pushing it for that inhibitor and actually was losing the duel against Lee Sin. So even if that extended out, Nidalee would have died and then there still would have been the same situation. So there was no saving for Unlimited there. That was too far behind. They need to, if that's the kind of comp they want to play, they need better early game because they fell so far behind from those early ganks and early dragons. Yeah,
and Dolphs was very, very strong in that game as well, keeping up in the same score practically as Pleasy on that Syndra throughout the game. 6-0 and 4 he ended up on. So Dolph's really putting his team on his back. And of course, he came from a team called Dolphs Goes Bun Bun. So he's had a whole team named after him. And we know that he's a playmaker.
He's a good player. And actually, Syndra played really well that game as
well.
Oh,
yeah, Pleasy.
He 7-1-4, I believe it was.
Yep.
Just crazy amounts of damage. You didn't notice it in the late game, but in the mid game, he was just picking people left, right, center. It's really good.
Certainly was, and managing to get those scatter the weeks exactly where he needed to. There were a lot of stuns coming out of Pleasy that were just really, really impressive to see.
And Nidalee as well. I mean, Squiggle lost, right? His team lost, but he did everything he could to make that top lane seem up the way. Like, he was pushing it in. In a lot of games, when your rest of your team dies like that, you die as well. They pick on you, but he had great vision and didn't get caught, and the Mundo was not enough to hold him off.
Yeah, and of course, you have to mention as well the support players coming through here at the same time because Nami was just massive. Insane was so good on that champion and making sure that that bottom lane was well secured and keeping his teammates topped up in their sieges. They knew exactly what they wanted to do with their team comp because they were focusing these objectives incredibly well. So I think that Nami is really a priority pick, and I think if Insane gets that in the next game, it could be very, very dangerous for Unlimited. But we are going to hop to a quick break as we set up the lobby for our next game, so guys, do not go anywhere.
Hey, beautiful.
We still on for dinner?
Time for 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, right?
How about 8:30 at the vegan place?
Actually, I'm in the mood for barbecue.
Sounds good.
Take a call and stay in the game. With the Plantronics rig, headset, and mixer, life comes to games like never before.
Welcome back. And,
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness.
Max.
To the Road to Glory final chance qualifier.
Yeah.
I was, of course, running from the bathroom.
Yeah,
Slightly embarrassed.
You literally, we were ready to cut back, and I was just like, am I going to have to solo cast this next game? But
Yep. You
All
are.
right.
In fact, I'm just going to be quiet.
Yeah, that's fine. I got this.
I believe in the power of the bench.
You didn't get my drink.
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, someone else stole it.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, that's why I'm panting a little, because I had to
Okay.
run down the stairs.
That's right.
My
I sat here the whole
goodness.
time. It's fine. I had the easy job.
Just
Cool.
hanging out, no worries. So, Villains up one game
They are.
in this best of 3 with a convincing win, about a 13,000 gold lead towards the end of that one. Unlimited struggling there a little bit towards the mid-game. We'll see whether they change up their picks and bans in order to help themselves out, just because I think that having a little bit more early game pressure will really help these
Yeah.
guys.
I think the main discrepancy between those teams is in the jungle. I think the Dolphs made so much more pressure in from the jungle than, is it Sybil?
You mean
Spoil.
Sybil?
Sybil.
Well, there's Spoil and Sybil on the same
Yeah,
team.
it's
Things
confusing.
get and Squiggle,
And
Squiggle,
Squiggle.
Sybil, and Spoil.
They don't like us. They're just doing us.
I don't like them either because their names are silly.
But I think that, like, the Lee Sin had so much pressure early and made those early ganks happen. And Kha'Zix, he was trying to make plays happen, but they just were not.
And fantastic ban choice as well. So Dolph's going to have his Lee Sin banned away here.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Like, if your jungler is not comfortable on Lee Sin and Dolphs loves it and he picks it pretty early on, that was, I believe, the second rotation pick from memory.
Yep.
You just got to ban it. You have to do it that way, unless you have a counter. And jungle, you don't really have a counter. Jungle's not a lane matchup. You can't pick something against Lee Sin and kill it. Lee Sin is going to make pressure in lanes, and unless you have a jungler that can apply similar pressure in lanes, then don't. If he's just good at it, get rid of it.
Well, we'll see what this last ban is. Of course, only 5 seconds to go. So Unlimited do manage to ban away their next champion. It is going to be Evelyn, so really focusing Dolphs on this one, making sure he doesn't have what is a comfort pick, even though it may not necessarily be a top-tier meta pick at the moment. Having that flanking potential. If you've got a good Evelyn on your team, things are ridiculous around the early game, just because wards mean nothing. You can get really into the places that you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
We'll see how it works out.
I'm seeing, so Tristana Maokai's been picked here, so top lane's pretty open. Maokai's removed, Ryze is removed. Ryze is an interesting one, because Ryze is, like, I reckon it's a tier 2 top. It's not like a Maokai or like a Mundo. He's a guy that you pick when they're not available. At least the last pick. Actually, Lucian the first pick. I was going to say Kha'Zix is a really big pick here with Lee Sin and Evelyn banned. And Elise, like, there's 3 big junglers banned. Kha'Zix is the next, and she's probably top tier.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get picked up here by Dolphs, assuming he plays it. I don't know if he plays it or not. I assume he does, because Kha'Zix is really strong.
And Sybil actually looked very comfortable on Kha'Zix as well, so picking that away from him will be really, really handy.
But once they're gone, like, what's the next tier of jungler? I mean, I'm assuming they can't play Rengar, because I think
Well, there's
they
the likes of
picked it last
Jarvan and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
Insane actually managing to pick up his
Nami.
Nami again.
Oh,
I
huge.
really like this pickup.
Love it.
That's huge, because we were talking about how good Insane was in that last game, but it leaves up another Nidalee pick, so having Lucian and Nidalee is going to be really effective, because Lucian's wave clear is ridiculous.
It'll be a blind Nidalee. That's the one thing I'm not sure about. Nidalee is good, but there are counter picks to Nidalee.
Yeah.
To Nidalee, or maybe not counter picks, but picks that aren't so good. Like, you're not going to destroy that lane like you do against a Mundo.
Yeah,
although
potentially.
they picked the Mundo into it last game, which concerns me for Dan's.
Well, Dan didn't do
champion
too
pool.
badly, of course.
No, he
So
did
it was
okay.
Fine.
He barely held on. It's like that floodgate that's coming. He
Yeah.
didn't let it through, but he did not hold that off. Like, he was not winning that lane.
Oh, and you're down 70 CS, so still
that's
fantastically well played.
so
Oh, picking the comfort Syndra pick away from Pleasy.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be as pleasy about that one, I don't think.
Yeah, and Lulu, that's a good pick. I like that. So Lulu is...
And Squiggle's played a lot of Lulu as well.
He has. And he plays... So Lulu's another champion that in top lane, you can really poke down and get aggressive and sort of force your way through. One thing I like about Lulu, and also Alistair when it was good, is that is 90%...
my goodness.
Rengar. Okay, that's... We'll talk about
That is very interesting because of the Rengar being picked up by our mid laner when the jungler could have just picked him. But
Yeah. The thing about Lulu, though, is it's 90% top, but in the case that maybe right here Villains picks something that counters it really heavily, they can just put it in support and then pick another top.
they can put it mid too. Lulu is so ambiguous. And even in Freak Champion Spotlight, he was playing Lulu as a jungler, picking up Trinity Force first.
I don't think that's how you play Lulu.
No, I think it was a joke.
Although Heavens probably saw that champion spotlight and tried it mid lane.
He did, and he started off building the Lizard Elder jungle item as well from that mid lane.
Orianna, love it. Super safe. I think she is like the safest mid laner. So much range.
Oh,
so much
and Jax escaped the ban list, so we'll be able to see why that Jax was banned in the last game. Of course, Unlimited did ban that away from Dan.
Yeah.
Very comfort champion for this guy, so we'll see whether he can go off on that one. And it's a little bit more difficult for a Nidalee to really split push against a Jax, especially once you hit that late game, because Jax is just a terror.
He's going to scale much better than Mundo did for at least 1v1ing. But Lulu isn't she's not a split pusher. Lulu's a team fighter. Yasuo, that's actually really interesting. I think they actually picked away Orianna here to deny the Rengar Orianna, to be honest with you. Rengar Orianna it's essentially Rengar goes best with Orianna because you put the
wow!
Well, okay.
This is interesting. Singed, not very strong.
So this is
this current meta.
This is the thing, like, they pick Lulu and they're like, oh, it's top Lulu, let's go Jax to sort of maybe counter it a bit, get a strike in, get some good damage. And they're like, okay, it's actually now a support Lulu, and we're going to put Singed in top lane, and he's going to do the whole thing where he goes 0 and 10, but still kill the Nexus.
We'll see whether he does do that bit of dirty farming behind the turrets. Just come and kill me, guys. I don't care. I'm still getting creeps.
We'll see. And Villain's taking their time now. They were thrown off by this, and they only had the ADC left. We can't really do much about with that.
Oh my goodness, but this is such a strong bottom lane coming through from the Villains. Having Jinx with that extra long range plus Tidecaller's Blessing.
What they might consider here is a lane swap to really shut Singed down. Singed, if he can't farm, I mean, he can still kill minions, but like, if you push him out of turret, don't give him levels, his split pushing is weaker, right? That's what he's looking to do, split push right here, because Singed in team fights just runs around, does nothing. Or does a little bit of damage. So their last pick with their AD was basically like, the choice was, do we go 2v2? Or do we lane swap and pick an ADC that works well for the lane swap? And they've picked Jinx here. I think Jinx works really well with the lane swap. With the Zap and also the Nami bubble, you can really catch out the top laner if they get greedy. But what to see? I think keep an eye out for a lane swap this game. I think it's going to happen from Villains. But Unlimited might see it coming. Because if I can see it, they can see it.
And there's some ridiculous combos coming through here on the side of Unlimited as well. Having the Last Breath plus the Rengar ultimate, Thrill of the Hunt, let him get into these fights and launch himself on someone, plus Wild Growth for the guaranteed knockups all over people. Final Breath can come in just on anyone at any time. So it's going to be very, very scary. We'll see whether Sybil can get himself into the right positions in order to get these team fights happening. Because as soon as that Wombo combo happens, it's going to be so hard for the Villains.
So Rengar does all sorts of Wombo combo. With Orianna, which was picked away, I believe it was picked away.
Yeah.
It was, put the ball on Rengar and he goes invisible, jumps in, suddenly the Orianna ult's there and just does damage to everyone. But with Lulu, it knocks up and then you got Yasuo to come in. The thing I'm a bit concerned with this is that's 3 people that need to sync properly. You need Rengar to dive in, Lulu to ult at the right time, and then Yasuo to come in. Whereas with Orianna, it's literally the 2 people. You just need to hit the Ori ult at the right time. So it's a lot easier.
Not to mention the fact that you can do basically the same thing with the ultimate from Kha'Zix. He launches in with the ball on his head and then you press Shockwave. I mean, it's not as difficult. Plus Counter-Strike as well is fantastic.
You can see
Stun everyone up and then just move the ball wherever you want.
The difference is Kha'Zix can go invisible, not as long as Rengar does. So you just got like 2 seconds to get that distance close. It's... Let's see. There's a lot of Wombo in this game. I'm going to say that.
It's going to be who gets the right team fight. But on the side of the Villains, that late game team fight comp is just so scary. Well, not necessarily team fight comp, just the team comp in general. Because this Jax just in a split push is so huge. And you've got Orianna, scales for days. We've got Jinx, the mega hyper carry herself. Manages to snowball around these fights, not to mention the resets coming through from both Kha'Zix and Jinx. Jinx getting excited, Kha'Zix leaping around these fights. As soon as things go badly for Unlimited, they're going to go horrible.
Yeah, and Jax is going to be a hit. You're not going to notice Jax early game. I don't think you will. I think you'll see him farming. You'll see him in that top lane sort of trying to hold Singed off or assuming they're split pushed. Lane swap, sorry. You'll see him in the bot lane just getting as much time as he can. But late game, you'll start to see him emerge a bit. And you'll see early game, you'll see Orianna, you'll see Kha'Zix make big plays, probably, most likely. Jax late game is going to come out of nowhere. And I don't think there's an answer for it. Yasuo can kind of carry on Unlimited.
Yep.
Singed can't. Rengar's going to drop off. He's going to become a tank. He's going to stop doing damage. And
depends what build he goes for. I mean, he might go for the solo queue Rengar hero build where you go like, Ghost Blade into Infinity Edge into Sword of the Divine and 3-hit people.
He could.
That would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious. If he actually gets snowballing early, he can do that.
Yeah.
Like if he gets like 3-0 in the first 15 minutes, he can start building some damage, get a Brutalizer and maybe even a Hydra, and maybe move around the map that way.
Ooh, we'll see.
Might be a bit nice.
Of course, we've been seeing a lot of different builds coming out. Of course, Ghost Blade and Feral Flare are 2 pretty much standard items. If you have a look at sort of really, really good Rengar players like the Dandies, like the Spirits from Korea, They're really, really good at this champion, and that's what they've been building, so maybe that's going to be the right way to go.
I think early on, keep an eye on what he builds his first jungle item to. If he builds it into the Wriggles and the Feral Flare, he's going to be looking to do a bit of damage. If he builds it into the Lizard Elder, he's going to be looking at being a tank and someone to initiate late game.
And to be a bit more gank heavy as well, because of course you're not relying on farming out the map quite as much.
Rengar is going to farm until 6. Until 6, his ganks are bad. Like, he just run in, hopefully boulder you, and then kill you. Like, it's not very good. Bushes, you can jump out of bushes, but for ganking, bushes are not in the great spots for it. You're going to have to walk into lane, or you have to go through the river and hope they come close enough to the river that you can jump out at them. Rengar farms until 6, gets his ult, and then, like, every time his ult's up, if he's a good Rengar, he should get a kill and make a play.
Yeah.
We'll see if he can do that.
Yeah, and also both of these junglers a little bit inclined to get that level 6 early on, so we'll see how these lanes sort of play out pre-6 without as much jungle pressure as you otherwise would have had. And Dolph's managing to get a lot of pressure down early was a lot what managed to snowball the game here for the villains, and we'll see whether it's going to be enough just to have this Kha'Zix come in with potentially a leap or potentially that extra slow on the W for the gank. Of course, it's a little, we're not entirely sure what he will want to evolve first.
So, a lot of Kha'Zix are evolving their W now for the
AoE
there's
sort of been a bit of
wave.
It's very situational. You can just do whatever the heck you want.
It used to be unanimously you get the Q because it does so much damage. Then it kind of got a little bit of a hit. Leap is always... I think Leap is a really good solo Q.
You need it by level 11. Leap you always need.
Leap you need second because you need the resets. But I think Leap is great in solo Q because that's where you're getting like 5-6 kills a game, right?
Yeah. 5-6 kills a minute.
Yeah. But like here, you're not getting those kills, so the resets aren't doing as much, right?
Wait, I don't think you can get 6 kills a minute in the late game.
You can. You can get revived. It's fine.
All right, cool.
We're in the game, though.
Fantastic. Finally, onto the Rift here with Unlimited now on our blue side and the villains in the red shorts. And trying to make this a 2-0 victory on the side of our Road to Glory team. And Unlimited going to try and make that 2-0 back play, get themselves back into this one and find their way into the round of 8 for the Oceanic Regional Finals. Very fancy Yasuo skin going to come in and help out Unlimited to do this too. So we'll see whether that's going to be enough.
Singed here, kind of walking around like Singed does. Jax is kind of zoning him away slightly. I think the main thing, though, to keep an eye on this early game, at least, is going to be Kha'Zix. I think that with Rengar farming, Dolphs knows this. He's like, okay, Rengar probably can't gank well until 6. Before 6, I think he wanted to make like 1 or 2 ganks on lanes that overextend. It's going to be situational, of course, but it's possible that the early game Kha'Zix can make a big difference in these lanes, and I think he'd be looking to make those plays possibly mid to shut down Yasuo, and possibly top if Singed gets really greedy.
Yeah, we'll see whether he does manage to do that, of course. Does have the fanciest skin, so he can smack people with a toboggan, which is awesome.
Yes, he's gone the snow skin, of course. Jax running in here. I think like Jax's... The thing about the skin that I don't like is that the fact that Jax is he's got a weapon on the end of his... It's not a lamp, it's like a big mace, so he's kind of cheating a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. Like, what if you had a real weapon? Well, you do have a real weapon, Jax. You smart aleck.
Yeah, and, well, that's kind of giving him a little bit of a theoretical advantage, although it's really not going to matter in this game at all. Starting red here for Rengar, and Kha'Zix looks like he's going to start his own red. So what this is going to mean is, well, Rengar's not going to matter. He's just going to farm. He's starting red because it's faster clear. Red buff obviously does damage, blue buff does not. Kha'Zix, I still think Kha'Zix is going to just clear this first one as well, get level 4 quickly, and then make plays. Because level 3 Kha'Zix, when he comes out of his jungle, is on like half health. His first clear is actually kind of hard. He doesn't like clear everything on full health like most people, so his gank at level 3 is actually really like risky. So I just think it's going to be early clears for these guys, and then we'll start to see after the first back how they make plays.
Yeah, and I really like this this pickup here from Azula in the mid lane as well. Yasuo into this Orianna. A lot of people happy to pick the Orianna into it, but it works out so nicely with that wind wall stopping the ball whenever it does try and come into the right spot. You can really screw up the ideas of this Orianna. But Pleasy playing this lane incredibly well. Leveling up that Command Protect early.
Oh, wow.
Dodge away from a lot
Jack's
of that
in
damage.
trouble.
Oh, Danded on a low amount of health, but does have the extra little bit of poison. But Squiggle, not too much kill potential now that he does have, of course, that teleport. But he had Ghost, decided not to pop it.
Something about Windwall we got to note as well is that Windwall is going to stop the Nami.
Yes, exactly.
Like, we're talking about Wombo in this game. Orianna ult's huge, Nami ult's huge, Lulu ult's huge, Yasuo ult's huge. They're the 4 big ones in this game. Super Mega Death Rocket's kind of cool here. Squiggle's just like being like so rude. He was singed.
Oh, Dan actually taking a lot of creep damage as well.
Yeah, so Yasuo's going to be able to shut down one of the biggest ults here. Actually, Rengar coming in.
Oh,
with
Dolph's is here as well, though. Azula getting taken down incredibly low. There's the exhaust. We'll see whether it's going to be enough. Dolph's flashes over the wall. First blood being picked up. Sybil now forced to use that jump to get over. Cute little work there with the flash as well into the Wraith Pit.
Yeah, quite simply, early game, Rengar is not as strong as Kha'Zix, and he was a little bit late as well. Like, by the time he got there, like, the fight was over. And that's unfortunate for him. Squiggle here, though, he's pushed Dan back to his turret, but Squiggle's out of health and out of mana now. He has to back, so he got a good push, and it looked one-sided, but actually Dan's done really well in that top lane to last. Remember, Jax is late game. He's not going to do well in lane right now.
Yeah, that being said, I mean, hasn't been forced to back, and Squiggle, because he has no mana, having to use that teleport very early on in order to get back into this lane. So you can imagine that Dan can feel free just to use the rest of his flask stacks. Oh, does get flung here just a little bit. Nice slow from Dolphs in the bottom lane, though. Amazing Aqua Prison emphasis. Getting taken down extraordinarily low. Fudges now with those rockets active.
Oh, Dolphs. He's staying in the brush, and Lucian's getting a little bit greedy here. He's looking for CS, but he's fine. He's fine.
Yep, greed play not going to come in, but does have to respect the fact that there could be a Kha'Zix.
Jax has actually been pushed back to his turret again. Singed has backed and teleported back into lane, and he's used all his mana to force... He's used 2 pools of mana to force Jax back twice. Now Jax is in lane, he's teleported back, so both teleports down top, but Squiggle has used a lot of mana, and Dan's just farming under turret.
Yeah, Dan not really too worried, and able to get back up to even CS with this Singed as well. So this is the danger on the side of Unlimited. They're just letting this Jax be able to do whatever the heck he wants. Of course, not able to get quite enough damage down is Singed.
Yep, and Jax getting flung there. It's actually taking a lot of poison damage there.
Of course, like, again, no mana on Singed.
No, it's so easy to say, oh, just don't step in the poison, but man, it's hard. Here we go.
Oh, there's actually the passive coming through. Dolph's walking around the wind wall and then managing to land the damage. Oh my goodness, not quite going to be enough, and there's a really nice timing on that shield. Please getting taken down incredibly low. Sybil, the flash was trying to get out of the ball strike. Sybil walks into the brush to get that leap through as well. Leap just coming off cooldown. Dolph's getting stunned, and Sybil not wanting to go too far, of course. Very, very low. Didn't want to get womboed out.
But meanwhile, on the top lane, though,
was available.
Jax got taken down by Singed under turret in top lane. He was low. Singed had just enough mana, and now he gets a kill. And now this top lane is an issue. Singed up over Jax is going to keep pushing this in, and he's going to force Kha'Zix to respond to him. Rengar is actually warding up the top side of the jungle here because he knows Kha'Zix is going to come. He's going to force himself to fight Kha'Zix in that jungle because he's going to be stronger in a second, I think. And then that top lane, that top half of the map, is just going to be Unlimited.
Unlimitedly available. Something like that. There's a joke there, but I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know. I don't know what you're going on about.
Yeah, I didn't really.
I'll pretend to agree with it, just so it makes you feel okay.
Thank you. You're right. Thank you. See, you're better than Jake. That guy just makes me feel horrible about my joke. Emphasis getting caught by a zap there as well. Aqua Prison going to be walked out of the way of. They actually want this fight on the side of Unlimited. Insane. Manages to get out of the way though. So that passive from Nami is just so strong. Able to give you a lot of movement speed. No boots have been built up here in the bottom lane yet. So movement speed is very, very handy.
Yep. Anyway, I think like this top lane here is becoming even worse. Jack's actually getting flown around a little bit more, taking even more poison damage. Like he's just getting. Look at this. This is that a level discrepancy already? Yeah, it's a level up.
Yeah, 6 to 5.
Here comes Plexi though. He's trying to even this top lane up here, but honestly, I don't think you can kill him.
Works. Command protects there, but please, you're just forced to walk the heck out of there.
Yeah, Dan can't fight with that. It would have been a 1v1, and Squiggle was pretty much full health. So if Dan jumps in, he dies. Like straight up poison plus a fling. You know, he just dies straight up. So. Interestingly enough, it's going to be Kha'Zix here that comes back to save his lane. Orianna, if Orianna leaves mid, Yasuo gets free farm. That's not what you want in this game.
Oh no. Even if he has died once, you know, please, he's got an assist. Not going to give that much money. Of course, an assist not worth nearly as much as that kill. So letting Yasuo get back into this game is very, very scary because, of course, he's about to get that last breath. And he's going to be really, really strong. Another fling under Dan in the top lane.
Yep. And Dan here, he's having a hard time getting CS because if he's going to come close, he's going to take some poison ticks, and he just doesn't have the health. He's
a lot of action in the bottom lane though. In the meantime, Spoils. Sybil's come in for a gank. Does get back into the brush there as well. Insane, so low. Sybil picks up the kill. That's going to be the second kill for Unlimited. Fudge is forced to use that flash to get the heck out of there, lacking mana and lacking health. So Unlimited really fighting back here, and Sybil looking really good on this Rengar now.
Yeah, and, well, I mean, Rengar's making plays across the map. Like, he needed to... I don't know, Kha'Zix needs to be top. That's my main issue here. He's farming his jungle, getting blue. He's just not making plays. Last game we saw Dolph's doing these great early game Lee Sin games, right? He got a lot of pressure across the map. Top lane was, you didn't really pay attention to it, but he got mid and bottom rolling. Opposite's happening in this game. This Rengar, who has his ult, is making these plays now. Pre-6, it was a little bit in favor of Kha'Zix, but not, he got 1 kill. But post-6, this Rengar is making tons of awesome movements around the map. Oh, wow.
Ooh, Dan might be dead again as well. We'll see whether that Counter-Strike is going to be enough. And look at that. The ultimate gets popped. Not entirely sure it was all that worth it. But the villain's now going for a play on this dragon. No vision available for Unlimited at all. This is going to be free. And that is a massive oversight on the side of Unlimited. They do manage to see it fall down, so they'll get the timer.
That's a huge error. They got a kill bot just then. They had their jungler there. And the fact of the matter, like, they should have had that dragon. That was theirs, not Villains. Villains, though, they have a pink ward there. They had great vision. And, well, I'm sorry, Unlimited, but you can't get kills in lane and not keep that ward control going. That's what the bottom half of the map is about early game.
Yeah, and having that global gold as well is really, really helpful for Dan. He is going to be able to purchase those few extra items in order to help get him back into this one. So, see whether that is going to be enough to help out this Jax, who's only down by about 11 CS at this stage.
Yeah, he's down 11 CS. He's down about half a level as well. My concern, though, is that he's going back into lane and he's got a flask and no pots. Like, he's going to get, like, poisoned down. He's not going to have much of a way to recover. The flask is good, but not that good.
Does have a bit of life steal available. Oh, Aqua Prison going to be dodged out of the way here in the bottom lane. Very volatile. Lots of fighting going on. With the help of Pick, Spoil managing to pick up that last CS under turret as well. That was very cute. Yeah, very fun to watch.
Very awesome. Rengar here actually has gone Madrids, so he's going to be getting the Fur Flare and doing a bit more farming, but getting a bit more damage. So that's what his plan is. We do actually have Dolphs here in the bottom lane looking to make a bit of a play, but here's Rengar! Yeah,
Insane getting taken down incredibly low. Nice tidal wave's going to do a lot of work coming through there. Squiggle now using that teleport to get through. Insane's his focus. We'll see where it's going to be enough. Dolphs now forced to flash out of there. The exhaust does come through, but Sybil falls down. Dolphs is a monster. That being said, Squiggle, look at him running through these guys. Dan has managed to teleport through as well, but he gets caught under the tower, picks up the kill in response, and now Squiggle just trying to get through here. Fudges is very upset about this entire turn of events. Last Breath going to get caught by that fling as well, which is a cool little move.
Oh, is he going to be able to... No, he always uses fling, unfortunately, but that was a 4 for 2.
I didn't realize that that combination of abilities. The flip plus the last breath. That is very cute.
That's totally a thing. It's not going to... that's going to be one of the few times you see it, though.
Oh, there's the shockwave coming through. Azula! The instant exhaust from both of them. He's got that shield back up as well. Wow. Oh, my goodness.
And he can't chase because Singe is just putting down that poison trail. If he follows and tries to, like, get that kill on...
Never chase a Singe.
Man, never chase a Singe. And that's a universal rule. Doesn't matter the situation. You think you can kill him, but, like, no, you can't kill him.
Oh, you can't. You definitely can't. We've got a different build coming out here from Spoil as well. Picking up the Bilgewater Cutlass, potentially going into a Brutalizer afterwards. So it's a build that we've seen coming out of mid lane Lucian players who like to build a lot of that early sustain, make sure that any harass is going to be taken away. And of course, you're going to take a lot of harass coming out of a Nami and Jinx bottom lane. So I like the pickup.
So the main thing from that fight, though, is everyone piled in bot lane. That was a 5v5 over time. The one thing, though, is that Singe got 4 of those kills. Singe is now 5-0-0, and he's also up 15 CS. So he has got his Rod of Ages, and he's starting his second item, which is, he's got boots, which is obviously useful. He's got a tome as well, but he's going to get big, and Jackson's not even in top lane
anymore. Nice Aqua Prison landing on a Spoil here in the bottom lane, though, meanwhile. Fudge's trying to get enough down, but that was a really nice Whimsy just to make sure that nothing was going to happen.
Yeah, Jack's tried to make a play mid. He just can't be in lane with Singe, who's got a Rod of Ages at, like, what is it, 12 minutes? Man, that is a quick Rod of Ages. But he's going back to top lane. He has to save his tower. Singe is just going to keep farming, otherwise he's going to keep getting further ahead.
Yeah, that was a 12-minute Rod of Ages. That's stupid. Yeah, has managed to pick up that top tower as well, so he's free to roam around this map. Insane now knows that there's going to be a Sybil around. Does get caught up here as well. The leaps keep on coming. He's in the brush. The wild growth comes through. Nice exhaust from Insane is going to stop Silver from doing too much, and Insane took a lot of damage there. Spoils now the focus. Fudges wants to turn this one around. Oh my gosh, it's not going to be enough. He's trying to walk. There's the flash as well. Emphasis doesn't quite manage it. And wow, that was so incredibly close. Squiggle now having a fight with Dan underneath this turret in the top lane, and Pleasiandolphs are going to try and counter push this middle lane as well. Wow. Dan is having a horrible time.
He really doesn't like that top lane. Singe is going to do that. A 5-0 Singe, you just don't lane against it. But Jax needs farm. Like, he needs to stay there, and he needs to get this CS, but Squiggle's not letting him get it. Like, even when it's hitting the turret, he's like, you know, resetting it, running in, trying to fling him, getting some bit of poison damage, although he's proven me wrong by not doing it right now. Man, one thing I did see from that last fight, though, is Lulu and Rengar synced really well.
Oh, yes, they did.
Lulu on Rengar knocked both people up. Now, that gives me... I'm actually kind of interested for once Yasuo starts getting into these fights. That last breath combo, I feel like these guys have the synergy to make this happen. Assuming it wasn't a fluke, but I'm not going to assume that.
Yeah, that being said, I mean, the villains have a fantastic late-game teamfight as well, so we'll see whether it's going to be enough to get them through and whether Unlimited are going to be able to land these incredible CC combo potential maneuvers in these teamfights that are coming up, because it's always cool to watch. When a wombo combo comes down, man, it's exciting. But we'll see whether they got the coordination to do it, as you said.
My main concern is I'm looking at Jax's items, and he's just not... I don't see what direction he's going with it. He's got his Vamp Scepter, he's got 2 Doran's blades, he's got a Ruby Crystal, and he's got a Longsword.
He's looking to build that Phage. We'll see whether he does decide to go for the Blade of the Ruined King first, or whether he wants to go for, in fact, the Trinity Force first. So Getting that Trinity Force early, though, is the best option here.
Yeah, it is. He's going for
Trinity
Trinity
Force.
Power Spike. But he was forced to go Vamp Scepter because he needed the sustain in lane. It didn't actually end up working for him, and thus he's sort of now delayed his Trinity Force, which means he's going to be quite simply weaker. Like, he's going to get his Trinity Force later, which means that Singe is going to have more items to protect against that kind of damage. Even now, Singe already has a Giant's Belt as well. Like, man, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is going to be a Riley's Rod of Ages Singe. Very, very soon.
Oh, man.
Pleasy just gets completely obliterated. It's going to be a little bit of a hula hoop in the meantime, but it's not even going to go off, and that's going to be a nice pick up here for Unlimited. Straight to the Dragon. No worries at all.
Yeah, so they can't really steal this. Like, I mean, sure, yeah, no, they can't. They're not even trying for it. They've given it up. Jinx is going to farm that bot lane. Kha'Zix and is just going to go back into his jungle. Jax can't really farm top lane. It's pushed out so far. And actually, look here, Jinx might get caught out here if he doesn't run back to the tower fast enough.
Yeah, nice Spidey sense in play. Rogers does know that, yep, there's no vision. They're probably taking the Dragon. Cute little zap. That was blind as well.
That was completely blind. Nope, I'm looking for no vision at all.
There was a pink ward there, but it wasn't where emphasis was. So nicely played by Fudges. Going to hit him with another zap. There's a tidal wave coming through as well. They want to try and catch out. Does get a flash in exchange for an ultimate and a Chompers.
That's fine. I mean,
definitely worth it.
Flash is like 5 minutes. Nami ult's like, what, 1 minute?
Yep.
So, really good trade. I mean, it doesn't mean... I mean, Nami ult's not going to be useful. Dragon's down. There's not going to be a team fight unless they get trapped into it. That's fine. It means Lulu's going to be a little bit stuck. Although Lulu's only a support. Like, you want to get those flashes on like the mid laners and like.
Well, they've got to find a way back into this through any means.
Oh yeah, they've got to take whatever they can grasp, right?
Oh yeah.
This top lane here, this is becoming a huge issue here. The CS is starting to really expand out too. Jax is actually going for his Sheen next. He's built his Phage. We haven't seen Singe buy for a little bit yet. I don't really know what he's trying to do with that Giant's Belt soon.
It'll probably be Riley's.
Okay.
Wanting to make sure that he's as annoying as possible. Counter-Strike not going to catch any stuns here, and Dan just going to face tank all of that poison damage. And you can see this Rod of Ages stacking through more and more AP as this game goes on, and that poison is really starting to do work. As Squiggle just takes these golems as well. Dan, no.
That's risky though. He's going to lose a lot of health for this.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was worth it.
That Grandmaster's Might there as well. Does get the stun from the Counter-Strike, but you can see, look at the slow doing work.
Yeah, that was for 60 gold. He could have gotten that from 3 minions.
He also missed a cannon creep for it.
Yeah, well, it's a cannon minion, right? Like, he's just doing that to try and, I don't know, maybe try and grasp at something in his top lane, so he's trying to fight back. It's more of a metaphor.
May catch out, please, here. We have a little lance available. Sonic, Counter-Strike, sorry, is going to be used here on the Squiggle. Gets a little bit of a catch down, but in the mid lane, it's going to be the push coming out of Unlimited. They've got 3 members here to try and put the pressure down onto this outer turret. Wind Wall is going to be available to try and stop any clear from coming through, but it's not going to be enough. Pleasey does manage to sneak his ball around the outside.
Yeah, Rengar is here, and I don't think they've spotted him in this mid lane, so they got to be really careful. Actually, they did. There was a ward in that brush there. So
there was a turret in the brush.
There was a turret in the brush. Yeah, they built those things. So they know he's around. They got to be really careful. I'm actually kind of surprised there aren't that many pinks. There's actually only okay. There was 2 pinks. There's Orianna and Jinx with them. They've got to be really like putting those down in the lane upfield. When Rengar comes flying in, you'd be able to see him coming. Right now, he's in trouble.
Yeah, actually Spoil coming down onto Pleasey as well. There's a Shockwave going to land only onto Spoil, though. He is the focus. Exhaust onto Zolfs. Look at the damage coming through on the side of the villains, but not enough follow-up.
No.
Squiggle has found his way into this fight.
No one died in that, by the way. Like, it was actually like really well played by villains. They actually like really defended well. Orianna got caught, but just like there was so much CC and the great ult sort of stopped Rengar from being able to follow up too hard. Squiggle's down here now, and well,
yeah,
Villain's got to be careful.
Damage is doing a lot of work here as well, and Unlimited think that they can
turn
this one around. Aqua Prism does land.
Wow.
He gets shut down immediately by Pleasey. Really nice turnaround, and that layering of CC was really well played. The hard CC available from the villains is going to be really important in dealing with this Singed.
That was a 500 gold shutdown as well, so that's like a good amount of gold. Who actually got that? I think it was Orianna.
That was Pleasey.
Pleasey, yeah.
So Orianna picking that one up is definitely going to be happy.
Orianna, when she's behind, is really like there's no impact, right?
Oh no.
But when Orianna's doing damage, she chunks people. The ults do so much damage.
Yep.
Like if you're getting kills in this game right now, getting a couple of Orianna and getting some good farm onto him, that's what they really need to be doing. And they're doing that in the mid lane.
And there's no teleport available as well from Squiggle because he did use that to get into that fight. So Jax, having a little bit of respite, does manage to get a few extra creeps here in the top lane. Only needs about 1,200 gold before that Trinity Force is completed. So really, really nice coming through from Dan. And once he gets that Trinity Force, he might start being able to deal with this Singed.
Maybe, although Singed has finished his rallies. So
he has. So it's going to be he's going to be kiting people around a lot.
Yeah. I don't know if he's going to do his boots next and get a bit more move speed. I think that's probably the right thing to do, but he's going to start working on his 3rd item, and I'm kind of curious if he's going to add a bit more magic damage and try and split push and try and just 1v1 this Jax for the rest of the game, or if he might try and get a bit tankier and might act as a team's tank, because without Singed, Rengar is actually he's got his wriggles where he's building towards it, but he's also getting Randuin, so he's building half tank, half damage, mostly tank though, but he can be a huge frontline, or he can just do this all game, which is doing really well for him so far.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think he wants to be sort of a wild growth knock-up bot. So doesn't want to fall down too early on.
Wow.
And he's not going to be relied upon to do all that damage because, of course, Singed does a lot of damage here as well as Lucian and Yasuo. So they've already got 3 damage threats.
Oh,
they
Lucian's
just needed that tank.
No, he's going to back out. I thought it was going to get rotated upon here, but no. Jinx just farming the minions. And I think with blue buff here, I believe, actually it's Dragon that's coming up in 40 seconds. That's why they're down here. It's all about the vision control right now for the next 40 seconds, and that'll set up who's going to have the best chance of starting against this Dragon.
Oh my goodness, Squiggle's starting to tick with so much damage on this poison.
Oh,
Dan does pick up the Golem yet again.
Oh my god, he's going to die.
Grandmaster's Might's been used, and I think that, Dan, you're definitely going to die. Oh, it's going to be the flash into the leap, but he's still going to die. A little bit of a waste of a couple of summoner spells, and Squiggle picks up that kill very, very nicely.
Yeah, I mean, that's just getting greedy. Like, he can't leave his turret. They need to consider just letting him farm on the turret and just letting him do that down slow. They're going to slowly lose at top lane, or they need to send someone up to help and kill the Singed off a few times. Like, Jax needs gold, and he isn't getting it. At least not faster than...
Does have actually Force now, which is definitely... Oh, Sybil getting caught. I mean, Dolph's getting caught by Sybil here. Does have the wild growth as well, so Dolphs, you're not going anywhere, buddy.
Oh, really?
Does leap.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's going to be a shockwave onto Azula as well. Pleasey does manage to get down. The last breath onto his face. Exhaust has been used, so Azula's not doing quite as much damage, but it's only going to prolong the inevitable. And that's going to be a nice transition into Dragon yet again.
So Orianna was just in a really bad position there. He ulted and like hit Yasuo, but like his team were on his side of the turret, like up that top right, and he was stuck in river, and he couldn't get to them, so they couldn't fight. Obviously, Kha'Zix got caught out, but he didn't get instantly blown up. He lasted a little bit. They could have turned that around if they were positioned correctly, but positioning was just way better on Limited, and they earned those kills, and they earned that Dragon, and they're pulling out to a nice lead here.
They really, really, and Unlimited really needed that fight as well because it was clawing back to about a 1,500 gold lead for Unlimited, and that is not enough considering the late game prowess of the villains. We haven't seen Jinx in a lot of these fights. Only 4 assists under their belt. Of course, there's only 5 kills, so
it's actually 80% of the assists, yeah.
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad, but In these team fights, I mean, the last couple, it's been about catching the villains out. And if it is just a straight-up team fight, we'll see whether Fudges can do a lot of that work. And of course, this Hyper Carry Jinx does have the Infinity Edge, the Zeal's there as well. So starting to scale up into this game, but we can see Spoil with Blade of the Ruin King and, of course, the Ghost Blade as well. So lots of damage coming out of this Lucian.
Yeah, Lucian, he's actually sort of not... You don't really notice him, but he's like doing a lot of damage here. We've actually moved Lucian up in this top lane to defend this turret whilst... where is Singed right now? Actually,
he's in the bottom lane. Split pushing.
He's split pushing the bottom lane. Okay, so they've decided to put him there, which I find very interesting. I think it's probably because they've run out of turrets in the top lane to kill, so they're like, alright, we'll try the bottom lane next. This mid turret for villains is still up. I'm surprised they're not pushing that down now, because we have 4 people bot. They maybe don't know it. Here's Squiggle's in trouble.
Yeah, Squiggle in a lot of trouble. Has been slowed down here, but you can see Pleasy with a lot of damage. There's a shockwave into an Acro Prison as well. That was very cute. Tidal Wave, just to say, look at that. There's a Tidal Wave. And that's going to be the answer of Baron. 4 members in the bottom lane, and they're doing a lot of damage to this one. There's the point blank culling as well. Look at this Spoil with a lot of... Oh, Dan's here. We'll see whether he does try and counter-strike his way through, but he's not going to be able to.
No. And so they blew, like, 2 ults for that? 2 or 3 ults?
Yep.
They blew, like, it wasn't just any ult too, though. They blew the Nami ult and they blew the Orianna ult. They're the 2 big ones. They're the Wombo ones for Singed, who honestly, like, his job is to die. 10
seconds until Singed is up as well, and he has teleport. There could be a big flank coming through from Unlimited.
Oh, Dolph's in trouble, though. Look how low he is.
Yeah, he's actually tanking up the turret here as well. He did use that W when he was in amongst it. There's Thrill of the Hunt coming down. Azula looking for action. We'll see whether it's going to be enough. There's the flash. Doesn't quite land the Q.
Oh, bowler.
That's actually going to be the bowler for the stun as well. Fudges might have been caught up just a little bit. Please, he gets caught by the last breath. Look at that, Azula with a lot of damage. Dan gets caught as well. The exhaust stops him from doing anything. 2 kills for Unlimited. They're going to be able to transition this into the outer turret in the mid lane and potentially more. They have the Baron buff. They've got so much extra stats, so much regen. And this is looking like a different Unlimited to what we saw last game. They're in so much control.
It is. This is what happened last game, but like it's the top lane, right? It's Singed destroying Jax. Last game, Nidalee kind of beat Mundo, right? Unlimited were ahead in that top lane, but not to this level. Right now, Jax can't lane against Singed, whereas last game, Mundo could lane against Nidalee. And that difference is made, like, villains have focused so hard on Singed. They dropped 2 of their biggest ults on him, gave up Baron for it. They didn't realize it, but that's what they did. And then they lost 2 people mid from the counter push. They didn't get anything out of that either. They essentially lost 2 people for 1 and Baron for that. And a turret in mid as well. Well, actually 2 in mid, so
2.
Just like huge gold swing here. Look at this, 9k gold at 25 minutes.
Yeah, when only about 7 minutes ago we were talking about a 2,000 gold lead, which was next to nothing here on the side of it. You're going to have the villains dig very deep if they want to get back into this game.
Yeah, I think so what they need to do to get back, though, is vision is obviously huge. They need to know where Singed is going, and they need to give Jax some free farm. Like, right now, he's in the top half of the map. This is actually really good. They're going to get bottom tower. It's going to give them a little bit of gold, which is great. They actually need to back out of here. I don't think they realize it's going to be a 4v4 soon. They can't fight 4v4s. But they need to give Jax farm. They're doing that. Get him late game, and then hopefully at some point he can catch up to Squiggle and maybe be able to lane against him. When that happens, they'll have their chance.
Yeah, that being said, Insane has a lot of really, really strong disengage on this Nami as well. Ooh, Azula actually getting caught by Dan a little bit here, but probably doesn't want to take this fight. You can see, look at those crits doing so much damage.
Yeah, I mean, Dan is behind not only against Squiggle, but also against most of the other team. He needs to...
And it's the global gold as well, and this Baron buff as well.
And actually, he's going to get dives here in a second if he's not careful. He's going to lose a lot of CS here from the tower.
Oh, Last Breath actually being used, and that's going to be an insta-kill onto Dan. The last little Q, really, really nicely played, and that was just textbook from Azula, just too easy.
And the problem with this Jax is that he's forcing people away. Right now, they want a 4v4 bot, but they can't because they lost Jax. So Kazix has gone top.
Oh, fantastic Relentless Pursuit from the Lucian to get out of that shockwave, and please, he's gotten caught for it. Does try and use that dissonance to speed himself up, but Squiggle's just going to wander around and pick it up with the poison. Inner turret in the bottom lane is going to fall as well, and Limited so much control around this map, and they are going to be able to transition now, try and get the first inhibitor of the game. Baron buff with a couple of minutes still remaining.
Yeah, Squiggle's going to just tank this. Like, who's going to do damage to him? The tower? He's actually dancing under the turret there. They get some nice damage down. They're going to back out and wait for their minions. They are actually quite low, but they have Baron buff to heal them back up. Yasuo's rotated down, and Orianna's still dead for 10 seconds. Without her, they can't fight here.
Yeah, they can't. They will have that wind wall available as well to stop a lot of that damage from coming through. Oh, Sybil actually getting caught up there a little bit. He might fall down, but no, he's not. Wild Growth enough to save his life, and that's going to be Squiggle now right into this back line, flinging people around. Fudge is now forced to use that cleanse. Nice McHale's being used by Insane in order to keep him alive, but Squiggle's just wreaking havoc around this team. There is nothing these guys can do, and Unlimited with a free inhibitor and turret.
Yeah, and man, that's sort of going to be really hard for villains to come back. The main thing is right now that top lane is also like down to the inhibitor turret. So if they can put Singed back to the top, they can keep rotating there. Bottom lane's going to shove through. Baron it's not up, it's going to be up soon, but that inhibitor's still going to be down there. Free drag, I can hear sort of just puts that salt in that wound a little bit, just need more of a lead.
Yep, you may as well take the objective if you want to, and it does push it up to about a 12,000 gold lead as well.
Singed has got Thornmail again, by the way, and also a needlessly large rod. He's actually 8-2-0. He's up 50 CS on top of that, so he's 6 kills and 50 CS over Jax.
Yep.
He's got an extra full item. In fact, 2 full items, right? No, just 1, sorry.
1.5.
1.5. Yeah.
Give him that.
That's,
yeah, it's Singed.
Oh, man.
The TLDR of this whole story is the fact that Singed is pretty big, everyone.
Yeah.
Singed, pretty big. He's got a spiky coat on as well. Don't want to shoot that
Singed
guy.
is like a really good snowball champion. Like early on, he got that, I know.
The Snow Day Singed skin. Really nicely played, Benji. We'll make a freak out of you yet.
He got that early kill though, and since then they did not respect him. They did not send up Kha'Zix to help catch that Jax back up, and this game has turned out like this. This is what's happened. In the other lanes, honestly, it's been pretty even. Like there've been a few kills here and there. Oriana's a little bit behind. That's mostly been recently after the Sims started coming to play.
Yep.
They need to really focus. This top lane has been the story of the series, and Squiggle's been doing really well in both games.
Yep, and of course Baron up in minute 20. So not going to necessarily be a point of contention for the next little while. We'll see what Unlimited decide to do. As you can see, Squiggles decided to walk up to this inhibitor turret and probably laugh a bit.
Yeah, so there's Kha'Zix and Jinx dealing with the minions on their Nexus turrets right now. So they're trying to rotate back up here now. Rengar's actually ulted, so I don't know what he's trying to do with that. He's just sitting on there. So he's kind of wasted his ult. Kind of saw a play that wasn't really to be.
Yeah, probably thought about going in. Potential wild growth available.
But they can simply siege us out. Oh, wow, that's a good dodge.
Shockwave just used a little bit preemptively there, only lands onto Sybil, and he's just going to walk out of it. So that's going to be a key ultimate down. Wave clear is available on the side of the villains, but oh dearie me, it's looking scary. Yeah, because these super creeps are keeping Dan busy.
Dan is stuck in that bot lane right now. Like this push here will eventually get this turret. If they shoot it a few times every time a minion wave comes, they'll get it eventually because the inhibitor's still coming to the Baron in 25 seconds, by the way.
Not to mention the fact that Squiggles can tank that tower for quite some time. He's now ghosted right into this one. Fudge is getting caught immediately. Really nice fight. Last breath is going to land on him as well. Azula picking up that kill. He's on a rampage now. That's another knock-up. Insane's going to fall down. Dan's found his way into this fight. But Pleasy, look at the damage from Spoil. He's dashing around these fights, tanking up the turrets, not caring. Whimsy onto Dan. He's a sitting duck right now. Gets flung back into the ice. And that's going to be the Nexus now, the focus. Unlimited going to pull it back to 1-1. We're going to a deciding game in this best of 3 series.
Yeah, and the top lane is the focus here. The jungle in the first game was huge. Dolphs made huge plays, but in this game, this was all about the Singe. This was all about the Jax and how one-sided that was. Nothing else mattered. That
Not to mention the fact that Sybil really pulled it out on that Rengar as well. We haven't been seeing all that many strong Rengar. Carbon was fantastic here in the Oceanic scene. He's a fantastic Rengar, but he's the only one that we've seen really playing it. And now Sybil's come in, and he's looking really, really good. On that point, though, the Rengar has come into play since winter. Around winter, the junglers were... He got nerfed quite a lot, actually.
He did. Winter was all about Elise and all about Lee Sin.
Yeah.
These finals coming up at EB Expo and Armageddon, we're going to see which junglers have picked up Rengar. Does Spooks play it now? I don't know, actually. We know Carbon does because he played it at Wildcard, but who else can play it? And that's going to be a big story, I think, for that event.
Yeah, well, I think that having just a different trinity of junglers, there were a lot of junglers that we just saw over and over and over again. So it's going to be nice to see the likes of Jarvan 4 back, you know, and Rengar and Kha'Zix. Although Kha'Zix is always there. He's always been there. I love him. He's one of my all-time favorite champions.
He's my favorite jungler. He's so good. He just kill everyone.
I thought you were going to say favorite champion. I'm like, that's not how you spell Jace. That is not how you spell Jace, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, we are going to take a quick break, but we'll be back very soon with the deciding game between Unlimited and the villains.
Hey, beautiful.
We still on for dinner?
Time for 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, right?
How about 8:30 at the vegan place?
Actually, I'm in the mood for barbecue.
Sounds good.
Take a call and stay in the game with the Plantronics rig, headset, and mixer. Life comes to games like never before.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Oceanic Regionals Road to Glory Final Chance Qualifier. I had to look down at my little cheat sheet just to make sure I could remember the title of the show. I'm, of course, Max Atlas Anderson, joined by the wonderful Ben Wright, Benji DeRitter. Does that work?
That works.
Yeah.
That's how you're supposed to
It's
say
like
it.
you're just like Ben Benji. It just feels a bit redundant.
Benji's
to me,
fine. Like I just generally respond to that. Like that's what names are, right? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So that's going to be back-to-back stomps here as well. So I'm really excited about this because this could be the game we'll see that could be close. Close excitement. Both of these teams have proven that they can beat each other. We'll see who manages to take it in the deciding game. Of course, it has been the blue side taking the victory both times. So you could theoretically say that the villains have a slight edge, but we will see. Because, of course, the momentum does lie with Unlimited.
Yeah. Unlimited, I think that the one thing about them is Squiggle is, what we've seen in the last two games, Squiggle is better than Dan, right? Straight up. That top lane is a mismatch. And that's nothing against Dan.
Depends on the picks. It does depend on the picks.
It does. But I think Dan's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he's bad, but Squiggle is just beating him in lane. That doesn't mean they lose the game. They just have to take that into consideration when they come up with their game strategy and do their picks and bans.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. You're just going to move my enjoyable beverage.
That's right.
From me.
It wasn't shot, and you can't have that, mate. Come on. Professionalism here.
Yep. Sorry. My apologies.
That's all right. So
we just need a deeper desk.
I don't know if we need a deeper desk here.
I'm making excuses. We are, of course, into Champion Select here. Ladies and gentlemen, Tristana Maokai Elise going to be banned out again.
Same bans.
Yep. Rise, Lee Sin. We'll see whether it's going to be same bands. Of course, we still have one more to be taken out. It's going to be Lucian taken off the board. So
that's been first pick in both games. So both teams prioritize this quite high. And actually,
my goodness.
Oh wow, they left Evelyn in. And so that's interesting because that was banned. Actually, so it is for Dolphs. They've been banned against Dolphs the whole time. So obviously, they do prioritize it. It has been a great pick in the great ban in the last 2 games. They had prioritized so high. They've traded that out for Lucian there.
So picking away the Nami from Insane as well is a really smart move. We'll see what Squiggle decides to pick away. They've got some counter-picking options here. Squiggle's actually going to take the BM Jax pickup.
This is you can't beat me with it, but I'm going to beat you with it.
Oh, that might have actually been because it was banned away from Squiggle first up. And Dan tried to pick it away from him, and then Squiggle picked it, singed into it. Sort of a counter pick.
I don't think
everywhere.
I don't think Jax is top tier at top lane anymore. Like, he was really good. Actually,
if you're very good at Jax, though, I mean, there are always these players that are just great on champions. Of course, Evelyn, the same thing, so we'll see.
So talking to Legacy, for Winter, they prioritize Jax huge. Minky played it a ton.
Oh, yeah.
By International Wildcard, because of the nerfs, they dropped it down. It was no longer a huge pick for them. They focused on things like Alistair, Maokai,
and Aurelia as well, yeah.
And Aurelia, yes. And Nidalee as well, even though Minky couldn't really play it then. I don't know how
prioritize that more in the ban list rather than anything else, yep.
Well, Fabulous played it a lot. And
yeah.
That's kind of one of the reasons why they did lose that best of 5. But Jax wasn't part of that, and he hasn't actually been buffed. So I think that this might be a weaker top lane. They've actually gone for Mundo to counter.
Ooh, interesting.
It is interesting. But Jax is a carry, right? I'm concerned because they've won that top lane early in all the games. I don't think Jax wins this lane early. I think he wins it late, and that might be a problem for Unlimited, who need to get something happening early because I feel like Dolphs is a bit better than Simon.
Yeah, and Dan picking Mundo into this one as well, so I wanted to go for a scale off against this Jax, which is a bit scary. Of course, Squiggle, if he does manage to get ahead, I think this could be very, very dangerous. Azula is hovering over this Syndra, though.
I actually find
they decide to go for that.
I find Caitlyn interesting. Like, Caitlyn...
They're just picking it away from Spoil, forcing him to go into something else this game.
Well, yeah, I guess, but I don't think it's that... Like, there's still a ton of 80s open. Like, Tristana, Lucian gone, sure. Cogmore's not terrible. Corky's still really good. And obviously, Jinx isn't that bad either. That was played last game. I don't know. Rengar being hovered here. I actually really like Rengar. That's locked in. I think Rengar is the next best jungler.
Yep.
Because Lee Sin is still good, but it's no longer the best. I think Rengar is now the best. And we'll see how they play it this game. They did have it last game. It worked really well for them.
Yeah, and Sybil played fantastic as well.
Yeah. But it's going to be against Evelyn this time. This is going to be a lot different.
Yeah, it'll be different for a lot of reasons as well, because Rengar doesn't have the setup that he had in the last matchup as well. That the last breath, of course, the wild growth being available. He got saved in that bottom lane by Emphasis many, many times.
Absolutely.
So we'll see what he does manage to do.
Emphasis on Nami this time. Nami...
The emphasis is on Nami.
Nami's like an AoE champion. Like, you're going to be able to CC lots of people, but not as well as like Lulu's going to be like, this one person is CC'd forever, and I'm going to save this one guy forever. Like, it's more better for that 2v2, to be honest with you. Morgana pick is actually really interesting, because I feel like Nami does really well against Morgana.
Yeah, but it's an interesting pickup. We've got the horse being looked at as well. So I'm not entirely sure where that would be going, though.
It'd be well, this is an AD they need to pick here, so I don't think they're going to pick Hecarim.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a good AD horse. Bring in the cavalry,
I mean, if you can play it mid lane, you can play it in AD.
Yep,
against
horseback.
Against Caitlyn, like, any melee champion here would not get CS unless they lane swap, which I still wouldn't rate because, yeah, there we go, Vayne. That's a bit better.
And Vayne Nami's actually quite a strong lane as well. Nami has the ability to help Vayne throughout that early game where she does have a slump, and then you can get to that split push stage where they have this incredible 1-3-1 split push with Vayne in the bottom lane, Jax in the top lane, something like that, where no one can 1v1 either of those champions.
Yeah, so... Well, we've got the Xerath locked in. So Xerath versus Syndra is the mid lane. That's interesting, because they're both very high burst. They both do a ton of damage.
Yeah.
And they both don't have much maneuverability. So they're just going to basically be punching each other in the face this whole game.
And they've got a lot of really long-range CC as well. The stun coming out of Xerath's E, as well as the Scatter the Weak Dark Sphere combo from Syndra. Yeah. Both of them have a very similar range, so you can CC from that, that distance.
Is a little bit higher than
a little bit.
Will have
the rest of her abilities, not as much.
No, but if she can land the stun and follow up with the rest of the kit, she can burst Xerath before Xerath can burst her. It's going to be a close mid lane. I think it's a skill matchup straight up. We're going to find out which of these two is better. Previous two matchups have been so heavily influenced by the jungler.
Yeah, it's been sort of around the map as well. They haven't really been duking it out 1v1.
But I don't know. I think the story of this map, I think it's going to be on the junglers. Dolph's on Evelyn.
Yeah.
I want to see what he's going to do here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been target banned away the last 2 games. Yeah. And we'll see whether it is going to come through again this time. And I mean, Sybil didn't manage to get his Elise, which he's very, very comfortable on. Has been banned away in 100% of these matches. So Dolph's managing to get his signature. See whether it's going to be enough. Squiggle managing to get the Jax as well. So we'll see how it works out.
Interesting. I'm not. This top lane should be pretty neutral. Mundo is just Mundo. You can't really kill him. Huge. But I want to see how Squiggle does on Jax because I haven't seen much of him recently. I want to see how well he carries.
Well, the interesting thing about this top lane as well is the fact that normally you'd say, oh, if Mundo gets through the laning phase up until level 6 without being killed, then it's going to be fine. Yeah. But not so much the case because Jax, like, he's going to equally scale as ridiculously into this late game at the same time.
Yeah, but Jax won't kill Mundo. Jax will just kill the rest of his team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, they can go even and farm, but Jax probably won't kill Mundo. Mundo's going to build, like, a Randuin's and be this crazy tank. With his
he has the option of going the old Randuin's into Thornmail.
But Squiggle's going to get farm, and then Pleasy or Dolph's is going to get jumped on it by his Jax and be like, what the hell? How'd this happen?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm having a horrible time, everyone.
Meanwhile, Mundo's like, what are you guys complaining about? Like,
but picking the Vayne into the Mundo is fantastic. Silver Bolts is brilliant. True damage as well as percent health damage is exactly what a Mundo does not want. He hates that a lot. Plus you've got Condemn to get him out of your face. Really, really cool. But if he does manage to land his cleavers right, he'll be able to definitely still be a problem.
I'm curious how the Rengar's going to work here. So Rengar is, obviously he can jump into team fights, right, and start it off. But there's no, like, the follow-up is from his teammates. Like, he jumps in and he's there, right? He exists. There's no ult on him. There's no Orianna ball.
No, that's the thing. There's no augmentation for this guy.
No, it's going to be a Nami ult that comes in with that, I guess. He might be able to, like, slow with his bowler on one person. I still think Rengar's really good. He's just a strong jungler in general. I just feel like the team comp is not built around him as much.
No.
He's going to jump in, and they're still going to rely on a secondary stun to really kick the fight off. I even think he's not the initiate. I think the initiate's actually Syndra and Nami.
But he is, if he does manage to get that stun on the bowler, then that's a really easy Aqua Prison.
Yes. Not
to mention the Scatter the Weak, plus that Counter Strike as well, which take a little bit more time to really get activated. But if you just jump on someone's head after Thrill of the Hunt and bowl them point blank, then everyone piles in on top, layers the CC, and someone's gonna die.
Yeah. On the flip side, though, the initiate for villains, I think, is a lot better. Evelyn ult into Morgana ult. Evelyn's going to slow them down. Morgana's going to walk in ult, can keep them slowed, and potentially stun them if they stay in range.
These potential flash Soul Shackles is going to be really, really scary. Not to mention the fact that after that, you can follow up with Xerath ult to do a lot of damage to a lot of people from a long way away.
They're going to keep them still for Xerath. Xerath, like, the hardest thing about him, it's not that much, but the fact is, like, you have to target all his abilities. And you can miss, right? But with Morgana and Evelyn slows across the board, like, this isn't just one person, this is potentially an area, he's going to find it very easy to hit his abilities, and that means it's going to do a ton of damage. Caitlyn doesn't really affect that as much, and Mundo's just going to run in there and press W and run around and do AoE damage to everyone. That's just how Mundo works. Xerath is actually a lot of the damage on this team. Caitlyn does a bit, but, like, Caitlyn is no Vayne.
That's the thing, that they are kind of a 2-damage threat team, which is a little bit frightening here on the side of the villains, just because coming out of Unlimited, they've got Vayne, they've got Syndra, they've got Jax, and they've got Rengar. That's
4 damage sources.
So much damage.
But they've got 2 half tanks, so Rengar and Jax can both be half tanks.
Yeah, sort of pseudo tanks.
And I actually think that's fine, as long as they don't get caught out. Mundo can get caught out, ult, and then, like, start the fight by luring them in. They can use that as sort of like a safety buffer. It's just basically on a knife's edge for UL when it comes to engagements, whereas villains have a little bit of move area, wiggle room, essentially. Yeah,
a little bit of wiggle room. But we are, of course, onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, with the villains on our blue side that we can see right now, and Unlimited in our red pantaloons. Jack's now going to be smacking people with a trophy this time, so that isn't a real weapon. It makes sense in this team comp.
It does, and that's the thing. Maybe that's why he lost. He's like trying to hold back.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the main thing, though, watching these games, they're going to do 5-point defense again, so they're just basically putting wards up, getting vision. They actually missed Cybele in that. Actually, haven't got vision of him. They've got one behind the bush.
Ooh.
I think
whether they managed to catch him.
I don't think they'll catch him, but I just think it's interesting. They just don't know where he is right now. Like, they haven't found him in the bottom half, which means he's starting blue. Vayne just pushes out there so he can get to the blue save. So they got vision as bottom half a bit, but yeah. Also want to note that all the wards from UL are in their own jungle, right? They're preventing invades in the bottom river and in the top jungle, whereas Villain are actually looking for... they're actually warding in the jungle, right? They've got a ward just outside the red buff in the top half of the map and just outside the blue buff in the bottom half. So they're trying to be a little bit more aggressive, which I find interesting because Evelyn's actually the weaker jungler early on. Evelyn does not want to fight level 3.
No, unless you're Diamond Procs and you've started with an Elixir of Brilliance.
Anything Gambit Gaming does means it's the complete opposite in reality. Those guys break the laws of physics. They're amazing players, but my goodness, I don't understand them sometimes. Rengar isn't a champion that wants to fight level 3 either, but if they both fight, like, man, like, oh wow, actually going for a bit of a cheese in the top lane here, maybe?
Ooh, potential. Potential lane swap coming in here as well. Not wanting to put a Vayne up against a Caitlyn, which is really, really smart.
They're actually going to go and stop this blue buff. This is huge. Evelyn without blue buff is... Oh man, that is rough.
You can't really hate spike things through. That's going to be a nice little cleaver, and they haven't started the blue buff, so a lot of damage has been mitigated here. Dolphs doesn't want anything to do with this at all.
Jax is taking their own blue buff. Is he actually killing it? Yeah, Jax is taking their own blue buff. So they're trying to secure both blues. They get one. Will they get the other is the question. Everyone's actually going to red. So they should get both.
Squiggle's actually getting taken down extraordinarily low from this one. Does have the counter-strike, so is potentially going to survive here. He's killed away the blue buff, so it's fine.
So he needs to run, though, because he's not going to live if he gets caught here. Uh-oh, they're running in.
If they ward this brush early...
Oh, is it going to be dark binding? This is going to be interesting. He has got flash.
He might need to use that flash. Oh, there's actually the flash into the... Oh, he counters it!
But that's fine. That
was hilarious.
That's fine. This is a problem for Evelyn. Evelyn with no blue buff, oh man, this is the hardest clear in the world. I play Evelyn, and if you don't get blue, you do like... You need a leash. That's why Mundo's here. And the fact of the matter is, blue buff on Jax means Jax is level 2 now as well, which gives him an XP advantage. He's going to teleport back to lane, and like Jax is huge. Jax has got a lot of ability to farm here, a lot of ability to stay at a decent level compared to even the bottom lane, let alone the opposing top lane. Meanwhile, Mundo is just rough. He's sharing XP with an Evelyn without blue buff, and well, this is just bad.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that if you're Jax, you're more than happy to be in this 2v1 situation. No one's going to want to dive you. That counter strike is so useful.
They're moving around, actually. Everyone's coming to this bot lane. Although Mundo is going back, sorry.
Yeah, we'll see whether they are going to go for it, because, as we said, very, very scary. Counter-strike, a brilliant tool. And Mundo's just going to teleport to this top lane and see what he can do. He's level 1. Sybil's actually coming through. They're going to see if they can do this 3-man dive onto the level 1. Mundo does get the stun. There's Jackal Prison as well. The layering of CC. And that is going to be Emphasis picking up first blood at the same time. And that's going to be an assist for Vayne. That's the main thing here, is the fact that there's more money on the Vayne that can be scaling through this game unlimited with a brilliant start.
Yeah, and that's Nami not getting the kills. It's not the best thing, but still, they get the kill. It's the main thing here, honestly, is denying Mundo XP. Not even gold, just like keeping his level down.
Yeah.
Jax is going to scale better. Jax is already a level up. At some point, when these two towers die, they're both going to start like free farming, essentially. These lanes are going to get frozen. They're going to leave the top laners in there, but at some point they're going to come together. Top laners are going to fight top laners, and Jax is going to be probably a little bit ahead. They're going to go for this dragon here, and they probably will get it because, well, 2 people in top lane and 1 person in base. That's basically, I was going to say free, but man, Dolphs is low.
Yeah, Insane's trying to do the little jukey
wow,
method,
but get
Dolphs is just dying.
There's no damage there. Like, Morgana's not doing anything. Dolphs is like level 2 with no blue buff, so he's going to go before he does anything. That was desperation.
Well, they're trying to juggle the aggro, and you can actually stop Dragon from doing any damage if you can get that juggle correctly, but it didn't happen.
But you still need to kill Dragon. They had no damage.
Yeah, it was going to take a while.
Well, it would have taken like 3 minutes, because Evelyn had no mana, doesn't have blue, and Morgana's not doing any damage. So, like, literally... Oh, wow, this is huge.
Oh, please getting caught. There's a brilliant snare as well coming through, and the fail flash. Pleasey. Yes, Pleasey.
Man,
UL
are just making the... Like, they are, like, I feel like a little bit lucky.
I reckon just Sybil's Rengar has been incredible these last few games.
Yes, I'd be a little bit scared of this, to be honest with you. Like, in the first game, he was not that good, honestly, on... I believe it was... Was he playing in the first game? Lee Sim, was it? No, it was Kha'Zix.
It was Kha'Zix.
Kha'Zix. He wasn't that great. He'd make a huge impact. But this game, even level 4, where Kha'Zix's not that good, they're actually going to rotate around here. And Mundo's actually in trouble yet again. There's no tower there.
Oh, it's actually going to be Silver Bolts procking up here as well. Sybil now able to do the stunning work. There's the flash into the Condemn and the tumble for the kill. Spoil picks up that one. And we have to mention the fact that Spoil actually definitely a seasoned Vayne player as well. Played a lot of that in solo queue. Really wanted him to pick that up when he was playing for Avant-Garde Redemption last time we saw him. Didn't actually manage to see it in competitive play, I don't believe. So exciting to see him playing this one and really putting it to good work. That flash Condemn was really nice.
Yeah. In the bottom lane, Nami's gone down there, so it looks like Squiggle's going to be able to get some good farm here.
Look at this inner turret already getting taken to half health on the side of Unlimited. Also, Dan is having a horrible time.
He is having it. Dan is not having a great day today, I'm going to say.
No.
He's level 3 though, and Squiggle's level 5, so he's down 2 levels now. And he's down... CS is pretty even, but that's because they both have none. It's 11 or 12 versus 12.
Yep, not bad.
But it's about XP in those two laners, right? It's not about the gold. And like Squiggle's just way far ahead. Again, it's the story of the series. Squiggle ahead of Dan, and then even in the same lane.
Yeah, despite what's going on. 2,000 gold, now the lead for Unlimited at 7 minutes into this game, which is definitely a big deal. I mean, of course, with not as much gold, the difference. Nice Torment Soil. Squiggle getting taken down to about half health. So
wow, Squiggle's like catching every ability here.
Ooh, that stun not going to quite land. Pleasy getting slowed down a little bit here. Emphasis flashing forward. There's the Aqua Prison as well. The ultimate coming down. Brilliant timing. That Aqua Prison coming in just as level 6 was hit by Azula, knowing exactly when they had the damage, and brilliantly played by Unlimited. The plays they've been making around this map have been so coordinated. I've been really, really impressed.
Yeah. And they're going to take blue buff away again. And this is the first blue buff. And this is the one Evelyn wanted, because Evelyn without blue buff can't farm. Evelyn misses this one. And what level is he right now? Is he level 4 versus level 5? So he's a level behind as well. If they can secure their own blue and not let Evelyn get it, I think like this game is
Dan actually getting caught up here by Dark's Scatter the Weak combination as well.
Yep.
But 4 members strong here in the top lane on the side of Unlimited, and it's going to be the answer here coming down from the villains in the bottom lane.
Zeros coming through. He might get caught though. He's got to be careful. He's coming a very risky way. He's actually going to get cut off. He's going to have to go around. Yeah, he's backed up and gone around. He's going to be even later to this tower, and Vayne didn't take that shot. There's still going to be a ton of damage on this thing. He's actually given up trying to rotate. He's going back to mid lane.
Yeah, that inner turret is going to go down here on the side of Unlimited, so they managed to pick up their second turret of the game, and it's going to be the inner turret in the top lane. But that's going to mean a dragon is going to be available. Insane trying his best to try and...
he sees the exclamation mark. He's in trouble.
The nice sidestep of the stun there as well. Pleasy, you're in a lot of trouble. Aqua Prison from Emphasis at the same time. Oh, Dan actually getting taken to half health here at the same time. But the dragon's going to go down, so Constellation Dragon here on the side of the villains.
But it's a level 4 Evelyn versus a level 6 Rengar. And also a level 6 Mundo versus... 6 versus... So
oh my goodness.
Died again, unfortunately.
Yeah, Dan's going to be taken down. The Ignite was available. Spoil now has popped Night Stalker, Final Hour.
Yeah, this is one more... there we go. He can... he's missed the...
nice flash out of the way of the stun bowler. Dolph's now on very, very low health. Spoil trying to stand in the back lane, get some damage down. Doesn't manage to get the last proc of the Silver Bolts. Pleasy gets stunned out of that one as well. Azul is going to be safe walking back to the turret. But he was hammering down on that inhibitor turret for a long time.
He was. And, well, this game is just not going well for villains. They're 0-6. They're down like 4.5k gold at under 10 minutes. That's a lot of gold, honestly. The support from Unlimited is higher level than Dolph's.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm really impressed with as well is the fact that Sybil's bought these Moby boots, so he's going to be able to get around. He knows that he's been making these ganks happen, and he's translating this experience lead and gold lead into more stats that can help him gank faster. And I love that.
He's going damage this game. He's got 2 longswords. Might look at building that into a brutalizer and then a Hydra. You can build a lot of things. Obviously, longswords is really good for any AD champions. But he's got Madrons, he's got his Moby boots. He's going for the snowball Rengar this game, and I love it.
Yeah, nice Dark Binding onto Emphasis, but not really going to do much in the long run. Still 2,700 gold the lead on the side of Unlimited, so that dragon for the villains definitely paying off. Azula not going to land the stun. Neither is Pleasy, so trading missed skill shots there just a little bit, but that one's going to land. Azula takes a little bit of damage from that one. Ebb and Flow going to keep him back at close to full health.
Yeah. That's useful, because there's a lot of slows out here for villains. You got Dan with his cleaver, Pleasy has got a slow, Dolphs has a slow with his ult. Like, everyone's got a slow. But the Nami with the Nami passive is going to be able to help. Like, when they kind of get caught like that, he's going to help get them out of that, as well as healing up slightly. So Nami actually really going to be really kind of good against this team in a really subtle way that you'll kind of notice here and there.
Yeah, and look at the vision coming through here around the Dragon for Unlimited as well. You can see they're clearing it out. They've got pink wards down. Know exactly what's going on, but there's still a few wards around the map for the villains as well.
Oh, wow.
Playing blind, but that's a really, really nice stun onto Pleasy.
Oh,
he gets taken down. Aqua Prison's not going to land. Fudge is now trying to clear out this wave. He might be a little bit too far forward. Oh, the bowler barely missing. The little cute bowler is going to hit, but that's not the stunning one. That's not the exciting one.
The enhanced bowler is huge. Like, if he lands those in those kind of situations, you can just dive, jump in and get kills. The main thing I want to point out actually is that villains are actually doing okay with their vision. Right, there's a lot of red wards in their own jungle, but they've actually got their own...
Oh, the stun actually landing on a Fudges. There's the black shield. Is it going to be enough? I'm not sure. They're trying to dive this turret. Aqua Prison doesn't land. Spoil Ace in the hole. It's going to hit Emphasis instead. He's going to be forced to flash. Dive not going to come off, but they've sent the message. I think that the villains are definitely frightened at this stage. They are.
And they are ahead, Unlimited, but they aren't that far ahead. They can start diving turrets. And that's the danger. And you see this a lot actually in solo queue. I'm not saying these guys are solo queue level. They're definitely really strong. But when you get ahead, you get really greedy sometimes. And you're like, I can 1v5.
Come on, guys, we can dive.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, a great player knows when they can and cannot. And a great defending team, which villains showed there, knows when the enemy can't. And when they can fight back and when they should just try and run and cut their losses.
Yeah, good decision in order to make use of the tower smacking down on their enemies. Almost manages to pick a kill up onto Emphasis. Dolph's now trying to get back into this game. Has died a few times, but Pleasy 0-4-0 on this Xerath. And he was the playmaker for his team in the first game. His Syndra was so good, and he's just not able to make the impact that he wants on this Xerath. We'll see whether he manages to farm his way back in. Of course, 61 to 98 there in the mid lane. 30 CS down approximately for this Xerath. Doesn't even have his Athenes yet. And things looking a little bit dangerous for these guys.
Yeah, and there's like this bottom turret here. They're going to rotate down. They should get it. There is two people rotating down. The bot lane is trying to come and defend this. I don't think they're going to be here in time, actually.
Oh, nice. Aqua Prison going to land onto Insane, stopping him from doing any
the lack of minions. They do get mid turret. Syndra's going to shut that one out pretty easily. Syndra's actually 3-0-1 right now, so has a nice little lead there. Has the Athenes finished up. So they're going to abandon this bot lane for now. They're probably not going to be able to kill it with these two here, but that's so low that they'll get 3,000 gold soon.
Yeah, they certainly will. Double Doran's Blade actually being started here by Spoil, so delaying his Blade of the Ruin King just a little bit. Dolphs is trying to come through.
So this Evelyn's trying to make a play here. Unfortunately, like, there's so little room to like maneuver around. You can either go all the way around, and it's kind of like a long time invested. Dan's actually going to fight here, and Squiggle's like, no, you're not. Get out of here, mate.
Yeah, Azula actually coming into this bottom lane as well. 4 members.
That's the bot turret going down, so that's the goal we're talking about. But
nice back off here, though. Oh, there's the ultimate actually coming through from Pleasy as well. Squiggle's in a lot of trouble. Forced to use that leap. There's the Flash Agony's Embrace at the same time, but flashed out of the way of immediately by Squiggle. Nicely played, and he's going to be safe here. So 3 members basically in that top lane is going to mean that Unlimited have a lot of pressure down here. Oh, just the tip of the stun going to land from Azula. Oh my god, look at the damage. Tidal Wave coming down as well. Nami with the flank. Aqua Prison lands on her. Oh my goodness, so much damage. The Ignite's going to tick down. Insane's going to be taken down. Look at Spoil, he's way under this turret. The tumble out of the way. Dan getting caught by the stun at the same time. Unlimited are so huge, but Pleasy's managed to make the flank. He's got to get back to his turret, find some form of safety. This is a very weird situation. Nice sidestep by Spoil. Oh, the stun. That is so much damage. Syndra's a ridiculous hero.
Yeah, that was actually an interesting fight because Rengar died without doing much there. He got caught out, he got CC'd, and the turret essentially finished him off. And the Nami coming in actually saved them in that situation. Without that Nami, they actually probably would have lost 2 people there and just had to back off. But Nami coming in helped them. Xerath was too late. He came down from top lane as soon as he was done with that gank. That's a long distance to traverse. He actually stopped by mid to clear that, push it forward a bit. Yeah, might have been a mistake. That's hindsight for you. Just a really great fight by Unlimited. It shows how far ahead they are.
It certainly does. And now Jax with a 30 CS advantage has his Blade of the Ruin King finished as well. So he's going to have no trouble against Mundo, who does want to be building a lot of this health.
Yeah, here's a dragon. There's so much vision out here for Unlimited. There's actually a lot of vision for villains in their own jungle, but not in the river. So they have no vision of this, and that's actually going to be a huge problem for them because this is going to be complete.
Yeah, the other thing I want to point out as well is the fact that Unlimited have so much neutral objective control, like the Baron, like the Dragon, with double Blade of the Ruined Kings. Emphasis actually may be caught out here. Look at the amount of damage coming down. Dark Binding isn't going to land. Ace in the Hole is, though. Please, he picks up the kill with a nice Arcano Pulse, so managing to get that one. Bit of a constellation kill on the support. We'll see if they can transition it into some objectives, though, because they've got to start getting money around this map. 5,000 gold, approximately, is the lead for Unlimited. Inner turret in the mid lane is going to be what the aim is. Yeah, Stun not going to land. Throw of the Hunt's been popped, though.
This is a 5v3. This is a turret here, unless they do some crazy engage. I can't see them engaging here properly. They'll probably take the next wave to do it, because Syndra has great wave clear, but Vayne's not coming back. Vayne's going to try and trade bot for this. Nami is coming up. They could try and defend this. I feel like just do the trade. Be safe. You're ahead Unlimited. You don't need to,
Yeah, they just need to clear out these waves and let Vayne split push. This is what we've been talking about. Is the fact, nice double stun with 2 spheres. That is cool. That is a cool maneuver.
Yeah, this will be the turret here with Jax getting stunned. Actually,
turret at the bottom lane. Squiggle actually getting caught up there a little bit. Arcano Pulse for a bit of damage as well. Nice 2-man Aqua Prison. There it is. Sybil comes in, but there's the ultimate. The Unleashed Power for so much damage. 3-man Dark Sphere as well. Look at this Syndra doing so much work.
Vayne coming in though, he comes back.
Yeah, Vayne with a brilliant flank. Soul Shackles is going to catch him up though. Condemn's going to come through to stop Insane from getting that one. And Dan, he's now the focus, gets immediately obliterated. Azula now trying to chase this one down. Tycolor's blessing for the slow. Emphasis going to catch it with a brilliant little Aqua Prison.
Yeah, and that Vayne action, so that was actually like pretty clean disengage. They were getting away, they were making the right slows and stunts, but the Vayne coming from the side made them go, which way do we go now?
Yeah, and everyone was butted up. They're all low enough for Vayne to come through, do the cleanup, Janitor Vayne. This could be an inhibitor turret, but they've got not a lot of health.
Oh wow, that was almost a good stun
by
Zera.
Oh dear.
Zera.
Arcano Pulse is going to come through, and that's actually going to be Ace in the Hole unnecessary.
I think the main thing though from that was that they tried to turn on Vayne. Problem is, the second they stop for half a second, the rest of the team catches up. And so they turn on Vayne, they slow in the stun, and they're like, oh wait, we actually can't fight this.
And I don't think the Soul Shackles even went off as well, because that Condemn came in at exactly the right time.
Yes, the Condemn was great. Vayne is like doing the right stuff. That bottom turret did die, so they got a turret actually didn't lose the mid. It's one hit from dead. They will get it.
Oh my goodness, it's purple build Vayne. Fudges with one little auto attack on that inner turret. So Ghostblade is going to be the next item for Vayne as well. So that's exciting.
It is. Just looking at the builds across the board, actually, Syndra is actually like so far ahead as far as kills over, well, not just kills, CS over Xerath.
Well, kills as well.
Kills as well.
More kills than anyone else on the map.
So,
my goodness.
That's a full needlessly over Xerath on that line. Is that right?
No, it's 2,400 gold in the lead at least.
Yeah, so the full needlessly large rod from Syndra over Xerath. Xerath's still doing good damage, but he is behind.
He's actually exactly 2,400 gold in the lead, by the way.
Is he?
So I'm very good at this game.
That's amazing. Good checking. I'm just looking at the items here trying to guess from that. Across
well, that's what I was doing as well. Got it. Nailed it.
Vayne is also a lot ahead of Caitlyn. There's 3 kills and also like 15 CS on top of that there. Jax is ahead as well, but not as much as we've seen in the previous games over Mundo. Dan's actually doing an okay job at keeping up, despite being 0-0. He has got Randuin's, and he's starting his second item, but Jax only has the Blade of the Ruined King starting his Trinity Force, so...
Yeah, and it's just really hard for this Mundo to do enough work just because Spoil on this Vayne is so good at taking down super tanks with that Silver Bolts. So it's going to be really, really scary for this Villains lineup as they get caught. There's the exhaust actually onto Azula. They do manage to take him down. Nicely played. Villains now with a nice comeback. That's going to be Ace in the Hole to pick that one up. Final hour's been popped. Squiggle with a 3-man stun coming through at the same time. Dolph's very, very aggressive. He's going to fall for that one. Nice ultimate coming through from Fleecy. He's trying to throw out as many skills as possible. There it is. The next Arcano post, but Spoil's here now. He has managed to focus out this Xerath. Wow. We'll see whether the 1v1 can come through. Dan versus Spoil. Here it is. The Burning Agony comes down, but the double kill and the ace for Unlimited. That was Spoil with a cute little dancing move. The same time.
That was the worst fight that Unlimited could have fought there. They came in piecemeal. They had lost 2 people before the other 3 people had come, and they still win the fight. That was just, I don't know. Honestly, that fight could have gone the other way. If Xerath landed a Q onto Vayne dies, right? In that last little bit there. It would have been a 3 for 5. So a couple of things here and there, but still, Villain's got a great catch. and still lost the fight. I am
It was
very
still 4 for
concerned
5, so it went honestly fairly well for the villains, considering the fact that they were down 6,000 gold.
Well, it wasn't 4 for 5 though. It was 4 versus 2 and then 4 versus 3.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't ever a straight up 5v4, and they should have won that. Like, they should have actually killed everyone.
Yeah, well, they managed to pick out 2 members with 4, so it was looking good for the villains, but the turnaround was very, very
The problem now is that Vayne is 605. Vayne late game is ridiculous. We know this. And
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler has shown that he can play this Vayne well. That outplay he did at the end, phenomenal. If he keeps that up, this is going to be a very hard game for everyone to come back in.
He's also almost going to have his QSS as well as a Mikhail's Crucible from his support, so he's basically never going to be locked down.
No. He's got to be careful with his positioning, though. Vayne is
He's also got to be careful with the amount of activatables he's got. That's a lot of activatables.
He does. And, like, I don't know about you, but I always forget to push.
Yeah, I know. He's got 3 now. My
Three.
goodness.
You got to push all the buttons. Not just the
Potentially
QWER, but
3,
also
yeah.
the 1, 2, and 3 buttons there. Assuming he has it on 1, 2, and 3, which is what I do.
Yeah, so do I.
It's so easy to press it there, you know. I actually think he's going to be fine. Like, looking at the engage here, Mundo's can't really run in and just kill him. Like, we saw at the end there. He can't do enough damage to do range. This is going to be a free drag, and no one's anywhere nearby. Bleezy's going to do long range damage. Dodge it. He's been dodging it all game. Evelyn's not going to fight one-on-one versus him, and Morgana and Caitlyn are going to stay back. Morgana's going to peel for Caitlyn. That's how that fight's going to happen. They can't kill Vayne at the start of the fight. If they don't kill her at the start of the fight, she's going to win the fight for the team.
Oh, yeah.
They have just no dive at all. Whereas on the other side, you got Jackson Rengar. And that's a lot of dive. 2 of those guys singing down here, they're going to do a ton of damage onto whoever they want. And at this point, it's looking like they're prioritizing Caitlyn and killing Caitlyn pretty quickly.
And that's working out perfectly, especially considering Sybil's build. He's going for a Spirit Visage next item, and that's going to mean he's going to have heaps of magic resist. Going to be able to stave off the damage from Evelyn, from Xerath, and from Mundo as well. Yep. And a little bit Morgana at the same time. Nice 2-man stun. Oh, the Tidal Wave being used.
Don't miss that.
Emphasis getting a little bit excited.
I'm not sure. That doesn't really do it. It's kind of a waste of all. Oh, Rengar is
a little bit. Oh, Sybil actually thrilling of the hunt at this stage. See whether he manages to get... Oh, please getting caught up by the Aqua Prison. Well, there's a leap onto his face, but Sybil might have gone a little bit deep. Is forced to flash back over the wall, but does get a flash for it in exchange. Yeah, Ace in the hole comes down on Emphasis, but he's got Everflow. He'll be fine.
They're trying to force this too much, right? The right move here is to push the lanes out, get the vision control, and take the global objective. The global objective right now is Baron. They probably can't take it, but make them come and check Baron rather than go and try and engage them over walls.
Sort it out that way.
Going to clear that pink ward out, which is good though. They need to get one down. That blue ward up there needs to be cleared out as well. They obviously can't see it there. They do have Mundo coming in. This might be the bait here. Although they can see Baron, they know it hasn't started, so they're going to keep pushing down mid instead.
Yeah, I think they're just deciding not to face check this at all. Spoil actually, Tycho's Blessings available. There's the Son of the Den. Forced to use that Asceticism already. Emphasis getting caught. Takes a lot of damage. Aquaprince is going to land on a Insane though. Soul Shackles is not going to get the Sun. 4-man Counter-Strike as well. Dan's now the focus. Does get scattered away as well. There's the ultimate coming through from Polizzi. Can he make this one work? Spoil now getting taken down actually by this Xerath, but he's the last man standing. And Unleash Power from Azula going to definitely put that one into him. And Spoil the only one dead. Unlimited able to push this one through. Yeah.
Now look at the health bars across the board here for Unlimited. They've got everyone below half, but only one dead. Like there is
10,000 gold lead as well here at 24 minutes. It's just huge.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that's what we're talking about. Like right then, they Unlimited were in the middle of the lane trying to push up. They overextended past where they were safe, and then that's when villains were doing that. And that's when Unlimited comes in and just takes them out. Right. Don't need to force it, just wait until they make mistakes, and then jump on them, and then you ace them.
And it's just a beautifully orchestrated team fight as well. I mean, managing to layer this CC, Emphasis has been playing a really, really good Nami. Now that he's picked it away from Insane, it's definitely working out for his team. Unlimited are just looking really, really strong in this game, and they're only going to get stronger considering their team comp. Jackson Vayne, oh my goodness, not to mention Syndra, now able to just eliminate anyone that they want. That trinity of mid lane items has been completed. Rabbiddance hasn't even been done yet from Pleasy, so he's so far behind. It's about an item and a half at this stage. Also 60 CS. Does have the same amount of kills, but 9 assists. It's going to give you a bit of extra gold at the same time. Not to mention this ridiculous amount of extra global gold coming from turrets, coming from dragons. Unlimited are in so much control.
They are. And, well, I mean, they're playing it kind of safe now. They did a few, like, crazy fights earlier, and they kind of didn't quite get the results they wanted. Now they're playing safe, and I like this. It's game 3, right? If they throw too much, like this game...
You can always throw. This is League of Legends. You can always throw.
Everyone's played that solo queue game where you're 15-0, and then you still lose the game because you know, that other guy on your team didn't do the right thing. You know?
Yeah, there's this guy, Benji, who works at Riot, keeps telling me about all these games where he was going to carry, keeps losing.
Yeah. It's probably me. I love going like 5-0 and then going 5-5. That's what I'm really good at.
Yeah.
Seriously though, like, especially when you get this far ahead, you get cocky. We saw them jumping over walls earlier.
Yep.
If there was just a little bit better focus from villains to capitalize on those situations, they could be coming back a bit better here.
But their item choices as well. Their item choices are just so intelligent. Spoils picked up his Banshee's Veil, so doesn't want to go for that QSS. Wants the Banshee's Veil, wants to make sure that he has that shield, so that if any of these abilities, especially like a flanking Evelyn with the Agony's Embrace, is not going to get slowed down. Squiggle now picking a fight with Dan. Counter-Strike's going to get the stun here as well. Look at the damage from this Jax. A very different beast to the last game. Dolph, there's the Agony's Embrace actually onto Azula. He tries to get the Scatter of the Weak, but there's a flash from Dolph. They are going to be able to land a nice amount of ultimate shots here coming from this Xerath. And Fudge is now trying to do the damage. Insane not going to be able to get the Scatter of the Weak. Oh my god, Squiggle with another incredible Counter-Strike. Insane falls down immediately. It's going to be followed by Fudges as well. Dan's going to be the next focus. Quadra kill from Spoil. Oh my goodness, that's another ace.
That was a really good. Oh, there we go. That's actually Surrender straight up right there. That was crazy, man. That game.
Yeah. Unlimited coming out absolutely gigantic in that match.
Vayne was getting the kills, but man, Syndra was landing those stuns like crazy. That game.
Left, right, and center.
That was like
the Weak were being scattered. He got a double like geometry scatter the Weak. That was so cool. He was basically Velcro.
He got his calculator out and was
he
like,
certainly
if
did.
I do this here, I can hit.
I've got a protractor. Allow me to use my sorted
Amazing.
it out.
Phenomenal.
Definitely did incredibly well. I'm so excited to see these guys play as well because, I mean, I say this almost every single time. I mean, if we consider the fact that they're a little bit of an avant-garde redemption situation, I want to be able to actually make the redemption joke and have it work.
Yeah.
So if we could just have some redemption being claimed, guys, that would be really cool.
So
and their name's unlimited, so they've got unlimited redemption.
You're right. And the thing is, like, now that we have all the teams qualified, we can talk about groups and who's playing who.
Yeah.
Unlimited are going to be playing Legacy in their first game. So they've got
scary.
a bit of an uphill battle here. Legacy obviously coming off their wildcard performance. They played decent over there.
But the thing that we got to talk about is the fact that they took down Immunity in the Winter Championship, and they looked so incredibly good.
It's true. But Unlimited, I mean, I think they're a team that can beat Legacy. One thing that does concern me about Legacy is their top lane. Minky's good, but we saw it in this game.
Yeah.
Squiggle's
really strong.
And that's how they won the first... Well, they didn't win the first game, but they won the second game through the top lane. They actually held on through the top lane in the first game, sorry. Like, it wasn't a whitewash because of that. And the third game, it was just like... It was a monster. It was just a wreckfest. But we'll see how that game goes, of course.
Yeah, and of course, the first event that we are going to see for the round of 8 for the Oceanic Regional Finals will be at the EB Expo.
That's right.
The beginning of October. It's going to be incredibly exciting, and everyone, that's especially in Sydney, needs to come along, and everyone needs to watch.
Two Saturdays' time, actually in 2 Fridays' time. So, yeah, that's when the first game is. The 4 teams at EB Expo are going to be Immunity. We're going to have Direwolves there. We're going to have Team Immunity there, and we're going to have Zero, who qualified through.
And which Chiefs Immunity? I'm really confused because everyone's changed their names.
So Chiefs.
Chiefs, Team Immunity, Direwolves.
Yeah, sorry, I said that wrong. So Chiefs are going in there, obviously, the old Immunity. The new Immunity is the old Dignitas team. And then, the other 2 teams.
It's ridiculous. And Direwolves is basically Curse. So don't even worry. Like, it's all just everyone's changed their names.
Kind of.
A little bit. There's a couple of members. I think it's Kensty and
Rippy.
Rippy was Dignitas. Oh my gosh.
It's confusing.
It is just a little bit. Shelby's on there as well. He's from Curse.
We'll go through that at EB Expo, though, of course.
No, it's not. That's avant-garde.
I think you have a little bit.
Oh no.
Max has a little bit of prep.
I've got a little bit. Oh no, it's not that. It's the fact that everyone switched around and they're playing for different teams. It's all confusing. I don't know what's going on. It's actually avant-garde that's sort of ex-Curse. They're the ones with those guys.
Okay,
so I got that wrong. You're right.
Yep. Anyway. Let's wrap it up, shall we?
Yeah, thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. This has, of course, been the last member of the Oceanic Regional Finals secured. Congratulations to Unlimited, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much for watching.
Hey, beautiful.
We still on for dinner?
Time for 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, right?
How about 8:30 at the vegan place?
Actually, I'm in the mood for barbecue.
Sounds good.
Take a call and stay in the game. With the Plantronics rig, headset, and mixer, life comes to games like never before.